Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for episode 101 of the MeepleCore podcast, a bi-weekly podcast about board games, video games, music, and nerd culture. I am your host, Tim Jennette, the Middle Meeple, and I'm joined by my co-hosts,
Eric Ledford,
George Breden.
And in this episode, we give you our first impressions for the board games Kingswood, Honga, Back to the Future, Back in Time, and A War of Whispers. 'Tis the season of online conventions. We talk about GenCon online and virtual cons in general. We run through our top 5 favorite abstract games and much more. Alexa, ask a random question.
Here's a question for you. What is your favorite movie quote?
This is fitting. Considering we have the Back to the Future game in here. Does anybody want to... I mean, all y'all did was quote Back to the Future while we're playing it. There's no way this is going to be...
Oh, that's a rough question, though. There's so many movies. And
I like... My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates.
Is that your favorite, or is that just your go-to because it's the one you remember?
One that just comes to mind. Or Terminator, I'll be back.
You know what? Episode after episode, Alexa has prompted or has asked us a question that's somewhat relevant to games or something that we're talking about. I literally think that she's listening to me the whole time.
She is.
Well, that's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Because later on, I'm going to bring up my phone and it's going to be like, you want to buy a Back to the Future triple on Blu-ray?
Right.
Well, she is our intern. She's doing her job. Doing a good job.
That's true. That's true. Man, I know I remember some movie quotes that I really like, but being put on the spot makes it somewhat difficult.
Yeah, no, I'm having a hard time as well.
If I had to say one, it would be from Fight Club, just because it's my favorite movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, it'd be generic just to use the typical, rule number 1, you don't talk about Fight Club.
There you go. Yeah.
But I like the, now I'm trying to bring it up on the spot. The quotes they say, like, all work, no play makes Jack a dull boy. They say something like that in the movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just had it.
What?
On The Shining.
Oh, The Shining, yeah. Oh,
here's Johnny. No, it's not Johnny.
He does say that.
Oh, that's true.
Here's Johnny.
It's like, come on, Daddy, play with us. No,
oh my God,
George, you want to say any of them?
I can't. I'm drawing a blank on the movies. I'm not a movie person.
Not even Back to the Future?
I am a movie person, but I don't remember lines from movies.
If James was on here, it would just be like
it would be one
the next 45 minutes, and he would basically quote the entire Fight Club movie.
No, the entire Back to the Future movie too. Yeah.
Well, anyway, I guess that was.
I'll just go with. I do not think that means what you think it means. From Princess Bride.
Right, Princess Bride. Yeah. Have you played any of those games, or at least the game? Because there was like 3 that came out in one year, right? Like a trivia and something else.
And I played one of them. I don't remember which one it was.
Bombed.
It's one of the few games I rated like a 1 or something.
Oh yeah.
That one's a good one right here on Fight Club. I don't want to die without any scars. Bam. Actually, there's one quote that I always remember, but it's actually from it's from War Machine. It's on one of the cards. I think it's on one of the Warcasters. And I think it says something like, if you can crush a stone with the same fist you use to caress a flower, then you are ready. I always thought that one was pretty cool. Because it's basically saying you have to be able to do everything, like be gentle, be cruel.
Right.
It was just kind of a neat.
Then you're ready for what?
Anything.
That's the only quote. It's flavor text on the card. There's like no context. I've read a lot of the War Machine world and stuff, but I don't remember that quote ever actually being in a story. I think it's just kind of like, I don't know, the same flavor text crap they throw on all kinds of magic cards,
Absolutely.
Which there's no way those are tied to anything specific.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if you're new to the podcast, thank you for joining us. Hopefully you are tuning in after listening to our top 20 games episode, which is our 100th episode. We do this bi-weekly. We have done it for over 4 years at this point. It was 4 years back in April. So long time, good stuff. And that's the first time we ever did 20 games. We always did top 10. First time for George, so we threw him into the top 20. It was the hardest decisions of his life.
That's right.
And
choosing between your babies.
One thing we did not do on last episode is what we traditionally do, and we talk about, obviously, since we're a bi-weekly episode, there's a lot of time that passes between each episode, and we talk about what we've been up to between the previous episode and this one. So let's start with Eric on this one. What you been up to?
Sure. Well, for one, doing the top 20 got me to go back and revisit a lot of the games that I thought would be up there on the top 20. So did a lot of gaming with the wife, so did that. I hear recently, since last week, also been playing a lot of that, what is it called, Among Us, that we played last Friday.
You've been playing that more?
Oh my goodness, it's wasted so many hours of my life now. I kind of enjoy it.
That's awesome. With random people?
Yeah, just with random people. So it looks like the average room is like 10 players. And for those of the people that don't know what the game is, it's an app. It's at least on iOS. I'm sure it's on Android as well.
Oh, for sure. George has an Android.
Okay,
yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
So you go into like this spaceship, and you have these random tasks that you have to go around the ship to do these tasks. It doesn't really give a backstory.
They're
but
meaningless.
basically, yeah, there's just
Let's go
these
do
tasks
stuff.
to fix the
Download
ship
this thing
in order
Yeah.
to win. But one among you is an imposter that's going to go around and kill off the other members of the ship. Once you're a ghost, you still can go and complete your task, so you do have some stuff to do even if you're dead. And you still can win as long as the others figure out who the imposter is. Because if anybody finds a body, or you can do emergency meeting, in which this is at this point in the game is the only time you can talk to other players. Otherwise, you can only see what you see when you walk around this ship doing your task and trying to keep an eye on everybody else.
At this point, are you just chatting, or is it actually voice speak, like chat?
No, it's just text chat.
Okay.
Yeah. So
because we played it just with us while we were on Discord, so we just tried to shut up until it was that time.
Right. So basically for the imposter, you're trying to slowly kill off everybody on the ship until you get to the last 3, and if you kill one more, then you would win the game. So you don't have to kill the last person, because then it's obvious. But even at 3 players, you can do a last vote, and, and then you guys vote. So how the voting works is whoever has the most votes, and you can also vote to skip, meaning you're not going to vote for anybody. So that counts as a vote as well. So if skipping gets the most votes or ties with the most votes, no one gets expelled from the ship. Otherwise, if one person has the most votes, it has this little animation where they get tumbled off into space, which is pretty cute. But and everybody's a certain color, so everybody's like, it's brown. Maybe I seen him, bench or some other stuff. I seen him kill somebody, or he just came out of this room where I found the body. So yeah, it's pretty fun.
And what player count do you like it the most with then?
It's 10. It always starts at 10. So everybody makes
like when you play it
rooms.
online, it's always 10.
Yeah. So
if you're joining a random game.
Yeah, most random games, I haven't seen anything that wasn't 10 players with one imposter. But you can kind of set it to whatever you like. You can add more imposters. You can add tasks. So there's like really short tasks. There's medium task, and there's like a shared task. So you can kind of play around with those settings. You can play around with settings that move faster, or you can see further, or reduce how much you can see. So there's a lot of different settings where you can kind of change up the game to tweak it to what you like.
Well, sweet. Yeah, it was pretty fun just playing with 4 people. But
yeah, I know. That's why I went back and played it, and I've enjoyed it. And I think we should maybe this Friday play it again, where we shut off our mics while we play it, but we can pop it back down to talk
shut
about
off
things.
Video because it was hard to not be like put a fist in the air.
Yeah. So it's actually pretty decent. So
is there something you do when you're a ghost as well?
So as a ghost, you can go around and look at anything, obviously, but you still can do your task. You can also communicate when people are making votes to other ghosts. Can see what you're saying, but anything you type can't be seen by the players that are voting that are still alive.
Is there a point to doing your task? If all the ghosts do their tasks, does the imposter lose?
So that another way, basically the 2 ways for the good guys to win is everybody complete all their tasks. So you fix the ship, I guess, or whatever, and those good guys win. Or you find out who the imposter is and just them out of the ship.
Oh man, I'm looking forward to playing it with 10 people then.
Yeah,
me too.
It's pretty nice.
Hopefully,
and each
I wonder
game
if it won't allow us to all. I wonder if it won't allow like us 3. It will.
Yes, because you make your own game, and you can either set it to private game or open to the public game. So basically, what you do is you set it to a private game. You add in whoever you want. Once you have your players in there, you open it up to the public. Then you're gonna have to wait a couple minutes for it to fill up, and then the person that's like the host of the room gets to start the game. And you can start it before it fills up to 10, but most people looks like they always wait until we have 10 people.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I'm glad I got us to play it last time.
Yeah, Among Us, great game.
Right.
Now, I don't remember who mentioned this to me, but a while back, this has been 3 or 4 months ago, I made a post on like the Board Game Geek Facebook group, or maybe it was the Board Game group. I think it was that said something like, I don't remember what I said. I think it was like your top 5 games with a trader or something like that. Somebody mentioned this game because they put their top 5 games or whatever. Right. Then they mentioned, I also like these video games that kind of play like board games. They mentioned this one, and they mentioned another one called like Operation Winter or something. It's on Steam.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember if it's actually called.
There's one called Frost, which is a card game on Steam.
This one is just like, it's like a better version or a more robust version of Among Us.
Oh.
So you're actually moving around, but you can kill somebody and then take their outfit. So then you run around, but like your body type stays the same. So like you might put on a bigger guy's clothes and you're just like all lanky and like wearing like a 3XL shirt and like, and I think that game lasts a lot longer. Cause Eric, with even 10 people, how long does that go?
I don't know. Maybe 5 minutes on average, maybe a little longer sometimes.
Yeah. So it's still pretty quick. Yeah. I think
this
game's like
10 minutes.
I think these other games might be 20 to 30 minutes type of deal.
But the problem is, it's like One Night Werewolf where once you start going.
Don't play once.
Yeah. Sometimes I play like 10 games.
Well, you have to get into the meta.
Right.
That's true.
There's a lot of great games that are similar to board games that are on the computer, like a lot of card games. There's Frost and there's Slay the Spire.
Yeah.
They're sort of like deck building kind of games.
Oh, yeah. I was saying specifically like this trader social deduction element. Yeah. Eric, what else you been up to? Anything else to mention? Or
no, besides that, I think I kind of already said last time I did end up getting another Calyx. So Melissa put me on a
2 Calyx
board game diet. It's like all your board games must fit on this shelf, or these 2 shelves now. Really, we started doing that and decided that it's time to update the basement before that kind of goes into place. So board games everywhere at the moment, and lots of stuff to do in the basement before that actually gets finalized.
We'll run through me and then we'll do George.
Okay.
I've got a couple of things real quick. I got my studio. I can't remember if I said this last time, but I got the studio set up. All the recording equipment, everything is installed, ready to go. I got a new device that my mom got me. And what I'm talking about is music. So the third thing I always say in the intro that we basically never talk about is music, obviously, because I'm a heavy metal guy. We have a band. I started this with Matt, and it was our band. Everything I do in the board game world always has this mesh between board gaming in music. That's why it's MeepleCore, kind of like hardcore, grindcore, deathcore, all these different types of metal music. So MeepleCore is just a clash of those two, or a combination of those two. And so I am looking incredibly forward to recording songs and doing what I originally thought about doing years ago when I first started doing reviews on the Dice Tower. And that is make MeepleCore music, like actual nerdcore metal stuff.
Oh,
so the first song I have is, Eric, you know this. I've said this like 1,000 times now. The first song I'm going to be doing is actually King of Tokyo, because I've had it written for like 2 years.
That's awesome.
So it's pretty fun. The whole, it's good stuff. If you check out the Instagram for MeepleCore and you go far enough back, actually, I don't think I posted on there. I think I posted on my original, or my personal Instagram. Maybe I'll post it back on there. But it was me and Matt and my brother were playing live, and we played for the first 15 or 20 seconds of the song. So I might repost that on there when I get close enough to maybe releasing it.
Awesome.
It's going to be good stuff. Oh, I'm so looking forward to it. Other than that, we went to Kentucky Down Under as a family to see a bunch of, it basically is a petting zoo with Australian animals. It has some other animals as well. And it also has a cave. Eric, have you been to this?
I have. It's been about 2 years, but I
think you can go once a decade and be okay.
Yeah. Before that, I think I went in like middle school or high school or something.
I vaguely remember going, and when we were there, it's like I had tiny little memory sparks.
Yeah, right.
So I know I've been there, but yeah, as we were there, I don't know, every couple of years, if you went, it would probably be okay. It's not super big.
Right. Yeah, definitely. You can definitely do it in a day. You probably could do it in like a half a day or something. I mean,
we were there for 3 hours or 4 hours, and we did everything we wanted to do. I literally think we went to every animal.
Right.
We petted kangaroos and stuff.
You went down to the cave tour?
We did the cave tour.
Okay.
Dude, all right, so when I was in the cave, the whole reason I put this on here is this cave, because I like caves.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like discovering caves. I like caves that are discovered with stairs and stuff. Yeah. So we're walking through this cave. The girl's really sarcastic, which at first I was like, oh my God. And then she was like super funny.
Yeah.
But the tour guide she was like, all the black stuff you see on the walls is because people keep touching them with their hands, and you cause the oils to mix with it, and it causes it to turn black.
Mm-hmm.
And then like 10 minutes later, when we got to this one part, she's like, all right, I said before that all your oils make the stuff black. Well, this overhang right here that you're going to have to duck under is black because everyone always hits it with their head. So anyway, this was like dangerous cave, man. This was pretty bad. Like, I was like, this is nuts, because the stairs are really small. Yeah. There's nothing to hold on to. It's like, don't touch the walls. And then you got to walk through this like diagonal wall. It's like I'm playing Wipeout or whatever that game is, where like the cutout of your pose comes at you and you have to like go through it with that pose.
That Japanese game show.
Yeah. I felt like I had to do this to go through this cave. I'm like, this is impossible. There's no way that you're going to get it's like a challenge mode.
Maybe gloves.
Anyway.
Maybe gloves.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that would probably be smart if they gave you gloves, because then your oils can't get on stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Good job, Kentucky Down Under. Anyway, so Theron got really scared because Drexel started crying at first. So he and my wife left, right? 2 seconds in. He could not do it. Theron, on the other hand, could do it, but the stairs it's an active cave, so the stairs are really wet. And he was slipping and stuff, so I carried him. Anyway, I'm carrying him, trying to like rotate my body to go through this, and I'm ducking. And I step up because the next 3 steps are like twice as tall, and you get momentum by going up that fast, right? And I hit my head on this stupid thing that she says not to hit your head on.
Oh.
And I have not been hit in the head that many times. And I felt like I was just beat to crap. Like, it hurt so bad. I almost thought I had a concussion. Like, I'm like dizzy and stuff. Like, I felt like I was playing Street Fighter and like the little stars are flying around me. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I sat down and I put Theron down and he stood there and the people by me like stopped and they're like, you okay? And I'm like, I hit that so hard. I cannot even tell you. And then we like for the next 10 minutes, I felt really weird. And then it kind of like I came to and I was okay. But I found out I had like a small bump on the top of my head and it was cracked where it like scratched it. It wasn't like it busted open. Like it hit and scratched.
Yeah.
So I still feel it, dude. It's up there.
I had something similar happen where I kind of stood up directly into a low hanging pipe in a basement. Yeah. And it was sort of like the edge of some kind of metal thing on the pipe. So it actually cut into my head. It hit me so hard. And I was bleeding and stuff, whatever. But then later I thought it was fine until maybe a week later, it started growing right there. Like it felt like I had a horn. Like
that's awesome.
that was growing like underneath the skin. And
oh man.
Yeah, I went to the doctor and they actually did surgery and like cut it and took something out, like whatever.
Your horn.
Like it did a crazy thing for whatever reason.
That's nuts.
So just watch out for that.
Yeah, no, it's gone now. I feel like where the scratch was.
Yeah, but how long ago was it?
Oh, like this weekend.
Yeah, so it could start growing.
I could, yeah. I'll watch out for it, but it's been 4 or 5 days, so hopefully it does not.
Okay.
Mine actually went down and went away. So if it comes back, that's a problem.
Yeah.
The last thing we went to is in Kentucky. There's a county called Oldham County. They had a fair, and they had a monster truck rally. So that was pretty cool. I mean, social distancing, all that stuff. We're actually in a field.
Yeah.
That is like an incline, almost like stadium seating.
Uh-huh.
And we just threw out a blanket, sat there and watched. And we brought those ear dampening headphones for Theron because he's really noise sensitive.
Sure, yeah.
And he loved it. And both of them loved it. It was a great time. It was really good.
Nice.
We walked through the fair and we're like, this is stupid. Like everything's massively expensive. We bought, a few fair items like, funnel cake and some deep fried Oreos.
Nope.
Amazing. Both my kids did not like either.
Deep fried
Weird.
Oreos. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. My kids, they would rather have some broccoli and some grapes. I'm not even joking.
Good for them.
Right?
It is good for them. It is good for them. I'm like, be kids, here's some cookies. Lastly, in the tradition I used to do a while back, Tim's treasure hunt, I found some items at Goodwill.
Oh, yeah, that was a good find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found code names for $2. Actually, it was $1.29. Telestrations, the 12-pack, the party pack, for $3.
Wow.
Yeah. And Villainous for $2.
Yeah. That was the best
or
find
whatever
right
it
there.
ended up being. It was $6. It was right over $6, but I rounded up to $7.
That's tremendous.
Nice. Super good for $7.
Not bad at all.
Yeah. Eric, you been finding anything? You have a...
Nah, I've been kind of busy, so kind of toned down my visits.
That's fair. All right, George, what you been up to?
Well, I am out here on the farm, social distancing and isolating myself as much as possible. So everything I've been doing has been online. And
that's fair.
So I've been doing a lot of Irish Sign Language and sort of watching a lot of videos and talking with people online with that. And this past week, there was a friend of mine who's giving a series of lectures on Irish deaf history on various topics. And she had an interpreter who was working with her who was in Ireland. That interpreter had been doing it for weeks. And she took a break because she needed to go out and enjoy her summer. So because it was on the weekend and, right in the middle of the weekend. So she just wanted to get out and go to the beach, I guess, which I wish I could do. And so she wasn't able to do it. And I've been learning Irish Sign Language for a while now, but I haven't ever done any sort of serious work. And this was an opportunity for me to voice interpret because the audience there were a bunch of American and Canadian people who didn't know Irish Sign Language, and the presenter is using Irish Sign. So I was called upon to voice this lecture, and it was my first sort of more intensive work as an interpreter in Irish Sign Language, and I think it went really well. So I'm really happy about that.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then later in the week, her boss, she introduced me to him. He's part of the Irish Deaf Society, and they have a series of classes that they put on for adult education and enjoyment as well. And so they're always looking for different kinds of classes and things that they can do. And it might be teaching English. It might be a foreign language. It could be how to cook. Like it's just, sort of, it could be chemistry. It could be anything. They just need to put on a certain number of classes as part of a government program, for continuing education for deaf people. So we had a discussion, and I'm putting together a program now to start. We're going to try and start it in January, and it's going to be board games. I have to decide which ones that I want to. I want to present.
Yeah, good stuff. The top 20.
Yeah, and teach. Yeah, but so it'll all be online, and it'll be in Irish Sign Language, and that'll be a new thing for me to do. I think that'll be really enjoyable.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's really cool.
So yeah, looking forward to that. Other than that, I went back and looked at some game companies that I've started to get interested in. One of them is Elf Creek Games, which they have Merchants of the Dark Road coming out as a Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
I had backed that for $1 and to do the Pledge Manager later. And then the Pledge Manager came up. So I did the Pledge Manager for it, and I went ahead and did the Kickstarter, ordered that. But then I went back and looked at their catalog because I didn't really know anything about Elf Creek Games. I hadn't heard of them before.
It sounds familiar.
Well, they have
what game is it that we played?
From Elf Creek? I have no idea. They have Merchants of the Dark Road, and then the other one that I found that they have is called Honey Buzz. And that was a Kickstarter that I had completely missed. But in looking at that one, it looks really good. So I went...
Atlantis Rising.
Oh, that's right. But it was the remake. They didn't originally do Atlantis Rising.
Gotcha. That's
right. They did the remake of it. But they have this other game, Honey Buzz, and so I went ahead and added that to my Merchants of the Dark Road pledge as well.
Nice.
It looks really good. I don't know if you guys have ever heard anything about that one.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No, I have not.
It's sort of an economic game, which is unusual for me to be interested in that. But if you just look at the money as being basically victory points, because that's what it is, that's how you win the game. I guess for whatever reason, it makes it more palatable to me. And it's sort of a puzzle game where you take these hex tiles and build your hive. And every time you make a circle that has a space, a hex in the middle that isn't filled in, then you get to do all the actions that you've placed around that, which is a really cool way of making it very up to the player, how you plan what you're going to do. And the space that you leave in the middle is where you're going to put your nectar. And you have to go out and get these flowers of different kinds. And when you put the tiles around to create that space, they have different colors on the side of the tile. And depending if you have 2 whites and 4 darks, then, for example, then you have to get a certain kind of flower nectar to put there. So it just makes it this really clever puzzle, and I'm excited about it, which a game I'd never heard about before, but it looks to be the same high quality as the new Atlantis Rising, and hopefully the Merchants of the Dark Road, which looks like the components are going to be excellent for that as well.
Yeah.
Very nice.
It looks pretty interesting online from what I'm just looking at.
Yeah, from the website, it looks like they make some quality stuff.
It really does, yeah. I spent too much, but it's okay.
All right, anything else you want to bring up, or are we going to move on?
That's me.
To the news. All right, we only have a couple of news items on here. We're not some kind of news podcast, but I like to bring up some things. The first one is the Ascension Tactics Kickstarter funded, and this is the first Kickstarter that I have backed in years at this point. I went on a 2-year streak of buying stuff, and then I took a lull, and then after that I was
never
like,
looked back.
Yeah, I was like, well, if because I had that gap, when you're constantly getting Kickstarters, kickstarting stuff seems easier because you're constantly getting stuff. But if you have that gap or you don't have anything coming, it's like, click, I'll see that in a year.
Yeah.
That's true.
That is the hard part, right?
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. They did add some kind of sword add-on, two things about that. One, the sword was a quote unquote replica of the sword that the I can't remember what Alma priest or Templar uses in the Ascension card game. It's like what he has. First off, if that's a replica, you are blind. You're blind. It is vaguely reminiscent.
It's a sword.
If you drew me a silhouette, that's about as vague as this.
No,
the handle and the hilt, nothing looked the same. I mean, it was just like a Chinese broadsword, right?
It was exactly. You showed me the picture, Tim. It was exactly the same as the spring steel Chinese broadsword I got for $20 when I was a green sash or whatever. This is.
Yeah,
it's wushu. Yeah, it's wushu broadsword, like ridiculous.
But on the actual card art, it had a hilt that came out and it had fancy curvature and stuff. And dude, you could have put these next to each other and said, "Do these look the same?" I'm like, no.
Yeah, no.
But anyway, they had to end up taking it off of there because apparently you can't add weapons on Kickstarter. So
what about I thought
new to me.
Elon Musk did like a flamethrower. I guess that's not a weapon.
If it's not sharp, if the sword isn't sharp, how much of a weapon is it?
Oh, that's true.
I don't know their terms of service, but yeah, you're right. Elon Musk did do a flamethrower, which I really want to buy.
Right.
It looks awesome.
That's a tool.
Yeah.
It's just if you want to get rid of a lot of weeds,
right?
This is an option.
They should have put the sword on there and called it like a weed whacker or something, or a machete.
Get rid of a lot of weeds with a sword as well.
Yeah,
it's like a paperweight.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Star Wars has a new game that the Op is coming out with. It is the Talisman version of Star Wars. How excited are you now?
Not very.
Not
at all.
I'm not a Talisman person.
I haven't actually played that Talisman, but from what you guys tell me, it's not very good.
I don't know. I don't know for sure. I mean, there was the 40K one, and I think there was another one. And then now you have, as a matter of fact, I can't remember 100%, but I wonder if Labyrinth and Dark Crystal, I think they were Talisman-ish. Maybe I'm wrong, but point is, I wonder if they streamlined Talisman for at least the Star Wars version, and maybe it might be slightly enjoyable. The problem with Talisman is just had a lot of luck and randomness and stuff, which was cool 25 years ago. But
is it like storytelling kind of?
There's no storytelling.
Oh, okay, never mind.
maybe
it's an adventure game.
Maybe we're doing it a disservice though, because it could be a very different game. It's in its 4th edition right now, revised. Right. So maybe it's nothing like we were.
I have played the 4th edition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think I might have played it in 1983 or something.
Yeah. No, I played it like a couple of years ago.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see.
Talisman Kingdom Hearts.
That's right. They did make a Kingdom Heart. I knew there was other IP ones.
Talisman Legendary Tales.
Oh, here we go.
Talisman Timescape.
Talismanopoly.
Talisman Dragons, Talisman City. These are expansions to the first Talisman, actually. Talisman Dungeon, Talisman the Adventure. Oh, Talisman Batman.
Yeah, that was a bigger one that they came out recently, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Well, either way, out of all these, the Star Wars theme might make me come back and try it out once. And as a matter of fact, actually, if this ends up coming out on Tabletop Simulator, we should try this because it's been a while since you played it. And Eric, you haven't played it. It would be kind of cool to see, from all varying degrees. Like you played a very old one. I played the newer release.
That's true.
And Eric hasn't played it all.
Yeah, it'd
be cool to see if that, it wouldn't be the Talisman game, but it is a Talisman game.
Right. How much actual strategy have they introduced to it by now?
Yeah, right.
Is the question.
I still think it's going to be random, but there's a lot of crap about Talisman I did not like that I don't think they'll include in the Star Wars one, where you go and reveal the last boss and you all lose or whatever. No, anyway, we're going to plug some ways you can support the show, and then we're going to get on with the topics and the games that we have planned for you guys. If you are interested in getting tons of software or games and things like that, go to MeepleCore.com, click on the orange link at the top that says Humble Bundle Partner Link. This will take you to Humble Bundle. anything you purchase from there will give us a little bit of kickback. I think it's like 5% or whatever, but you can change those sliders if you want. Everything on Humble Bundle benefits a charity depending on the bundle. You also will get games in books or comics, software, all kinds of crazy stuff. I don't know if it's still going on. There's a Pathfinder bundle that has like 20 something books for Pathfinder, and you can even pay an additional fee of $30. And I think you actually get a physical copy of the core rulebook too. But even then, you're looking at $30 for like 20 PDFs or whatever, plus the actual hardbound book. It's crazy. Humble Bundle's awesome. I've used it way before I decided to sign us up as a partner, because I basically sounded like a salesman for them anyway. It's so good. Check it out. Even if you don't support us by clicking on our link, definitely check it out. It's worth your time. If you follow us on Facebook or Twitter, I will post bundles as they come out with our partner link embedded. This will not only keep you on the up and up on which bundles come out, but it also help you support the show too. So check that out. You can also go to patreon.com/MeepleCore and support us there by subscribing. And
greatly appreciate it.
So we actually have 4 games for you on this episode. Normally we do 3. We have Kingswood, Honga, Back to the Future, Back in Time, and A War of Whispers. And first on our list for this podcast is Kingswood.
Kingswood is a 2020 game. The designer is Henry Audubon. The artist is Tristram Rossin. And publisher is 25th Century Games.
So Kingswood is a game that I had on, if you listen to our top games that we're looking forward to coming out this summer or whatever, Board Game Geek actually had I think they still have one for like later months, but they had one for like the summer releases, and this is one of those. It came out on Tabletop Simulator, so that's where we played it. Obviously, we have not touched the physical components, but we're going to comment on the game anyway, first impressions at least. And Kingswood is a game where you're going to set up this rondel of cards out in the middle. There's 6 locations. 5 of those are always going to be the same. And then there's one that's randomly drawn from a deck of like 8 cards or whatever. 3 of those cards are going to start off with an adventure token, which is basically a giant blue meeple. If you're watching the video, it's behind George. And then one of them is going to start off with the King's token, which is, we'll get to, but it's a token that basically says this spot is unavailable. And what you're going to do, each player is going to get a character card that has an asymmetrical power, or a power that no one else has. You get a different allotment of these resource tokens to start the game with. There are hearts and swords and spell books, and there's also gold. But the first 3, when you use those tokens, they flip over to like a gradient, like a black and white version of it, so it's spent. And the gold actually gets removed and put back into the resource pile. So what you're trying to do in this game is run around and refresh your, like, do the actions on the different cards to refresh your tokens to go fight stuff. So on your turn, you get to do one of 2 actions. Normally you're going to do the first action. And the first action is to choose one of the blue meeples that are out there on the rondel, basically. You're going to do the spot that they start on, and then you're going to move them clockwise or counterclockwise around the different cards. Because again, you put all these locations in a circle. You can move farther than one card, but you have to spend gold to do so. You're going to do the spot that they started on and the spot that you end up on. Obviously, you can't move them to the spot with the king, because that spot's off limits. These spots are going to do different things. Like there's one that's going to give you 3 gold. There's one that's going to really, like 3 of the other ones are kind of the same, where you can spend a gold to refresh all of one type of token. So like maybe you go to I think it's a blacksmith, you get to refresh your swords, or you can spend a gold to buy a new sword. So you have to buy more, and then maybe depending on how many you have that's spent, do the refresh option instead. There's another card for the hearts, and there's another card for the spell books. Those all work the same. There is another card that's random. Those abilities, it's not really worth going over too much right now, but they do various things that the other cards don't do for the most part, or combinations that are different. And then there's the forest, and the forest is going to have 3 bad guys that you flip out on this deck. This deck at the beginning of the game is kind of seated in a way where you have like easier monsters on top and then harder monsters on bottom. It's like a chapter 1, chapter 2 type of thing. And these monsters will have requirements that you have to exhaust these tokens or spend gold to kill. And so when you do the forest action, you can kill up to the ones that are visible, because when you kill one, it doesn't get replaced immediately until the end of your turn. Then they get replaced. So you can kill up to like 3. The whole point of this game is to run around, refresh your tokens, or buy new tokens, refresh the tokens once you spend them, make sure you have gold to be able to do these things. You will run around and kill the monsters, and depending on the player count, the game will go until somebody reaches a victory point threshold, and then you play an equal number of turns and the game ends. You obviously get points for killing these guys, the bad guys. Some of the bad guys will have in-game scoring, like for every type of monster you kill, you'll get extra points or whatever. That's not factored into the game length. And the only other thing I'll mention is the other action that you can do is, typically you're going to choose that because you can't do anything else because you don't have any gold. You can remove the king token or whatever it is, the king Meeple, the red one, and get 2 gold, and that's the end of your turn. And the way the king thing works is when somebody moves an adventurer, the first location they move it away from, the king goes there and locks that spot out. So the king will constantly move around and stuff as you're playing the game. That's pretty much it. You just run through and until somebody hits the threshold of victory points, and then you finish the turns, and whoever has the most points is the winner.
I just had one question on it too. How I remembered it, and it's been a few weeks since we got to play it. You don't do the action of wherever you leave. You just do the action of where you're going, or do you do both?
You do both.
Okay. So I remember. I thought you could get locked out depending on if someone else takes the force action. Now I couldn't take the force action because I have to move it away. Maybe I remember wrong on that.
No, it's because the person before you
that's
did
right.
the forest action first. Yeah, left, and the King's Guard was there. Which put the King's Guard there and locks that spot out.
Yeah, it definitely does lock you out. You do get locked out.
I remember something was locking things out. Okay.
Yeah. Well, let's start with you, George. Give us a point or two, and then we'll move around.
I was very frustrated during this game because I kept getting locked out, and my character had a particular ability that was tied in with a spot on the board that was almost inevitably locked out by the time it got around to my turn. So, but taking that into consideration, that sort of negative play experience, I can see, I can say that the game is a very easy to play, easy to teach game. Right. It's just light, to the point of not being memorable, but certainly,
which I kind of almost, there's like family level game, and I almost put it into the kid game category almost.
Yeah, it's really quite easy, but at the same time, that can sort of make it a pleasant play experience for someone who doesn't want something that's really
very heavy or anything,
deep.
Right?
Yeah. So I don't know. There's this sort of negative experience with it, but then there's also the positive side of this is quite simple to get to the table and quite simple to teach. So I'm a little mixed on it, but it didn't stand out for me,
I will say for me, it's one of those games. I think, Eric, you kind of nailed it. Like, this would be a game I would play with younger players or
younger family,
with
right?
people. Yeah, or with people who aren't really gamers.
Yeah. Or new gamers, right?
Yeah. It's definitely a gateway style game because it's, even though it's a rondelle, you don't feel that restricted to where you have to think about what's going on. The other thing is, the only problem with the rondelle part is so much changes in a higher player count game that you almost just sit around and be like, well, let's see what happens with the person before me.
Yeah, you can't really plan what you're doing. You plan it, as your turn comes. And your choices are going to be pretty limited. Usually you have option A or option B, or maybe I play another go down to option C. But at the most, your option scope is very limited.
Yeah.
Which is also kind of detrimental in a way with the way the game's designed, because 5 of the 6 cards out there are always out there.
Right.
Which is kind of sad to me because there's so much room for, and I get with why they did this, because you kind of have to have a card out there that does something with your hearts, with your swords, with your spellbook, and with your money. So that's 4 cards, and then you need a 5th card to fight things.
Yeah.
And then the 6th card is the only one that's random.
Right.
But at the same time, they could have did something where maybe instead of having a deck of random cards out there, that you have 8 copies of each spot, and then those are randomized. So you always know you have, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or they could have had those other cards. Like there are certain cards that are always going to be out there. There's certain 5. But then you could have, or is it 6? 5 or 6? Anyway.
It's 6.
6 cards always out there. But then instead of making the others cards, make them tiles that you randomize and put on those spots as well. And when you go there, you get to choose one or the other.
Oh, I see what you like. Do the base location or whatever tiles associated with it.
Yeah. So this
expansion time.
Yeah, this stuff like could be expanded out to be a better, a game that gives you a little bit more choices and gives you more complexity.
Yeah, but it wouldn't have to be tiles. Better. Just use the cards.
Or use the cards to make a bigger rondelle, so it kind of opens up the things the choices that you have during the game.
And I actually probably wouldn't even have minded having a couple more cards out there, like 8 instead of 6.
Right.
I don't know. The other thing it's kind of a negative for me is that the deck of monster cards are so just straightforward.
Yeah.
Like there's one, it's like, this guy gives you an extra bonus point for every this type of character you have in your deck at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like 3 different ones of those, but there's nothing else that's scoring variant. They don't have it where at the end of the game get, bonus points if you have, I don't know, like
anything
for every 3, like look at your bad guys that you've killed, and for every 3 sword icons that appear, get an extra point. So maybe it incentivizes you for going after like characters you have to kill with swords.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Yeah, they keep it pretty simple.
Or kind of like set bonuses or whatever. You know what I mean? Like there's all kinds of cool scoring mechanisms that they could have employed in that. But I don't know. I guess maybe you're not killing that much stuff. And the other thing is, it also is kind of a luck of the draw of what's there when you get a chance to go there to kill something.
Yeah, I was going to say that's definitely a large amount of luck in terms of what's there when you ever do get a chance to make it out there to kill anything. And I guess it would help knowing the deck, knowing what's coming so that you can prepare yourself for future monsters, a little bit. But on the whole, most of the time, you're just trying to get whatever stuff you can on your turn,
Yeah, it is kind of an opportune game, like, or if it's the right terminology, like when it's your turn, you just do what's opportunist at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or the best options at that time. But again, for the audience that it's directed at, the type of game it is, it does say 10 plus on the age range. It could be a cool family game, especially for kids who want to kind of get into.
I don't see that it needs to be 10 plus either. I would say, I don't know, 7 or 8 plus would be just fine.
Yeah, probably. Because
mm-hmm.
it really doesn't have that much text at all.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
I think your character's ability is more text than anything else.
And it's pretty simple.
And it's like one sentence. Right. So for me, just to kind of final thoughts here, unless you have anything else, or you could say it in your final thoughts. For me, I think that I don't know if I'll pick this one up, although it would be kind of cool to play it with my kids when they get older. So it would be cool to have for then and hoard for years because I feel like it is a gateway style game, but I think this gateway style game doesn't last like something like Ticket to Ride. So people will play this and they'll be like, that's pretty cool. Oh yeah. I got other Rondell games. Let's play Crusaders, or whatever.
Trajan.
Or Trajan might be a little bit too far. But you know what I'm saying? There's other games that kind of do some of like
Merlin.
What this game does.
Right. Fruit picking. Play that one.
Never played that. But my point is, it would be a very quick stepping stone of a transition rather than games like Carcassonne or Ticket to Ride, which are actual gateway games, but they're lasting too.
Evergreens.
Yeah, like I could still play those games now and feel satisfied. I think if I played this 10 or 15 times, I'd be ready to move on.
Yes.
Actually, I'd play it like 3 or 4 times and be ready to move on. But it's a good family weight game. And for what it's doing, it's good. I just think that there's a lot of design choices I wouldn't have done. And, especially like it kind of limits the game into being this, you are going to do the 90% of the game every single time you play it.
Right.
You know, you just have the same mindset. Ba-bam, 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 ba-bam. And then, so,
yep.
Anyway.
I don't feel like you're doing anything particularly clever in this game. You don't get the feeling that you did something that made the game happen. It's sort of like the game is playing you to a certain degree. And it's just how things shake out. But it's perfectly pleasant. The art is very nice. It's a great
I think they did a good job with the box art at least. Other card art was okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice.
It looks like if they're using the big hefty meeples, and that was a good choice there.
The hefty meeples look good. I would like to play with those in real life. It's like they're like literally 3 inches tall.
The production's really nice, and the game is adequate for what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else?
No, that's all right. It was an okay game for me. It's not something I would pick up. I think I have better games to play with my family, so it's not something I would pick up myself.
Fair enough, George.
Yeah, I'm happy to play it.
All right, that is Kingswood. Next up, we have Honga.
Honga is a 2018 game. It is designed by Gunter Burkhardt. The artist is Stephanie Bohm, and published by HABA Games.
Yeah. So Honga is a game, I guess is the saber-tooth tiger's name Honga?
Yeah, that's Honga.
Okay. So Honga is a saber-tooth tiger, and the whole game is you're getting resources and trying to appease Honga, give him a little pet on the side so he doesn't come and eat your stuff. Basically, the game board looks like a grid, like a tic-tac-toe grid. So there's 9 squares. The middle square has Honga, and the points of that square, which are the 4 intersections of all the tiles, of all the squares, are where you're going to be putting these discs. And these discs are like, they're circles, obviously, and they're separated into quadrants. And each quadrant will have so many of these handprints. The idea is when you place one of these discs out and you rotate it, you're going to be pointing at 2 or more different actions, basically, where it's located. It makes more sense if you look at a picture of the game. So if you're watching the videos, great. Otherwise, just look it up later or something. But you're going to be putting these discs out and rotating it and then doing those actions as many times as the hands are pointing. The catch is you have to, or you don't have to, but you want to at least point a hand at Honga, because if you don't, he comes to your player board first, eats one of your resources, and you have 4 different resources that you're trying to collect. Yeah, you got fish, berries. What was the third one?
The brown mushrooms.
Mushrooms. Yeah, that's right, because it's a mushroom patch on the art. And then water. There's other things going on too. On your turn, you're going to collect whatever resources that you're pointing at. Some of the other action spots that you can point hands at, though, there's like these temple stairs, and you get to move up on the stairs for how many hands you have pointing at it. And if you reach the top, everybody scores points depending on what stair they're at, and then they all return back to the start. There is a mammoth area where I guess you're going out hunting mammoths, and you spend resources to put a mammoth out. And it's like a circle. So as you put mammoths out, you push whoever was there. You push their mammoths further along. And then if their mammoth, depending on the player count, reaches a certain space, it gets pushed off the board. It goes onto their player board. And we'll get to why that's important. But whoever controls the mammoths on that track or whatever, that's where you get to pick the red. Or is it Hung gets red?
No, that's how you pick the red of the better tiles.
You get the tooth. Yeah, so in this case, you get the tooth. If you have the most mammoths out there.
It's really a mammoth tusk that you get.
Tusk. Yeah, it's true. Because in Tabletop Simulator, it's just a giant human tooth. But yeah, it makes more sense that it's an actual tusk.
I mean, it could have been a mammoth tooth, just maybe a back molar.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what does the tooth do? Because I never got it, actually.
It lets you select the disc that has a total of 5 handprints on it, rather than the normal disc, which is always going to add up to 4 handprints.
Oh, right. That's right. The red discs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. There's gray discs and there's red discs. That makes sense because the back of the red disc has a tooth on it.
Or a tusk.
This is why we'll get to that. Anyway, if you get your mammoth pushed off, though, it goes on your player board. And the reason that's important because there's another action where you can do bartering, which is we always thought of it as crafting this item or talking to somebody to craft an item for you. There's 3 cards out and they have requirements. Maybe the requirements are spend 2 berries and 2 water, or 2 berries and 2 of this icon or water or whatever. But some of them will require you to spin your mammoths as well. And you can only do that if the mammoth has been pushed off the board and came to your player board. Because then it's not a resource until it's there. There's another, obviously there's a spot, an action spot to get all the different resources. There's an action spot to get these green cards, and these green cards will give you single use abilities. Typically things like add another handprint to your card, or get rid of Honga, or reduce the cost of the bartering stuff by these resources. If you do get Honga and he comes to your player board and he eats one of your things, what's cool about that is now you don't have to really worry about feeding Honga, right? That's the only benefit to it, right?
To which one?
We just played this game not too long ago.
You can't get rid of him, but if you don't get rid of him, you don't have to pet him anymore. He's not there. He's on you. So yes, you don't have to. Yeah. But he's going to eat one of your things every time.
Right. Yeah. You just have to lose a resource to him. He's not a big detriment, really.
Yeah.
That's fair. If anybody else doesn't give attention to Honga by using their actions on him, then he will go to their board instead. And so he might ping pong back and forth. Somebody might play a card and push him back to the middle, etc. The game's going to go on until somebody has scored a point threshold based on the player counts. Then you play the equal number of turns, like always in these type of games, and then whoever has the most points at that point is going to win. So if there's anything else I forgot, we'll just bring it up as we talk about it. I'm just kind of giving you a quick rules overview so you kind of get what we're talking about without playing the game. And I'll start with this one. I will say that this is definitely a game that has a little bit more strategy than you think it does. But at the same time, I feel like the cards that you draw really can hinder that pretty heavily.
Sure.
Because there are those discs have some of them, like the ones that have 4 hands, like the typical gray discs. There's some of them that point to 3 quadrants of the discs. You know, like if you picture like a pie, 3 of the spots have hands on it. So 1, 1, and 2. Mm-hmm. And then most of the other ones have like 1 and 3. Those are so hard to play. But the 1, 1, and 2, you get those, you're like, I could do anything I want.
But you can't do it as well.
Yeah.
You can't do it as well, but I mean, the fact that you have to always point to Honga really screws over those other ones.
You don't always have to.
That's completely
you don't have to. You kind of eat your stuff or whatever. Right. But I just felt it kind of frustrating sometimes to not, because I literally started in like the first 3 rounds. I had the disc where I could have 3 quadrants instead of 2. Mm. And then it felt like the rest of the game, I had 2 quadrants and it was harder.
Yeah.
I did pretty well though, so I've always been that bad mathematically, but.
So I guess, when you have to give 2 hands over to Honga, it's a little bit more of a hefty play or a hefty detriment that you have to kind of sacrifice to do so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Eric, you got any points you want to point out?
I overall, I like the theme of the game overall, and I thought it was a little weird in some respects though, which is you got to go pet this lion, which you usually don't want to go pet lions.
Saber-tooth tiger.
Saber-tooth tiger. And then he's gonna come eat your stuff, which a lot of times are berries and mushrooms, which it should be like meats or something. I don't know. But overall, I thought.
Hang on, he eats your fish first. Like,
yeah.
The only reason he eats your berries and mushrooms is because you don't have any meat.
I guess.
Then he starts licking up your water.
Yeah.
Hey, but at that point, if you don't have any resources, if you have mammoths, he'll eat those too.
Yeah, right. Eat a whole mammoth.
He got a meal out of you.
Right. But no, I actually, like you said, there's a little bit more strategy in this game. It is a HABA game, so usually HABA games are geared towards younger players, and I think this is a game that younger players can get into, can play. The artwork is very young.
It says
friendly.
8+.
Yeah, I can see 8+.
Sure.
On getting the strategies and stuff like that, at least. Even lower, can play it. You get the general concepts.
Not do well,
they might not, like you said, do well, but they'll get the general concepts and whatnot, and able to play it. Maybe they won't have be as strategic as, an adult player.
I wonder if a cool variant for younger players would be have a hand of 2 cards and you get to pick which one you play.
That'd be a cool variant for anybody.
George, like you said, house rule, I'm in.
Right.
I mean, but I kind of thought about that on the spot right now. I mean, I did think about it as we were playing the game. Like, why don't we have like a hand of cards?
Right. You draw at the end of your turn. So there's no problem to draw 2.
Variations in those cards that I don't think, there's like 2 hands and 2 hands, or 2 hands and 2 hands on the opposite side, or a variety of, 1 hand, 2 hand, 1 hand.
There's only so many, combinations you can have with 4 spots and 4 things. So,
right.
Or 5, yeah.
So if you have a hand, I think that opens up too many. You kind of do what you need to do every time. Whereas,
like, some of the strategy is that you're limited.
You're limited, and then sometimes you're like, this time I'm not going to pet Honga, and he's going to come and eat my berry or something, but I'm going to get, 4 full actions, basically, instead of sacrificing 2 actions to him.
Yep. Absolutely agree. Yeah. This game, it lives on that. It lives on the idea that you have to be tactical. You have a certain amount of hands, and they can only do certain things. What I think is so brilliant about this game is the way they've divided up the board and those actions so that the bulk of your points is probably coming from those stairs, which is over on the right-hand side.
Oh, I don't agree. I say the bulk of your points actually comes from crafting your stuff. That's
I think
the full basis of the game. I think
you
the
get
steps,
a bunch
which
of
you
points
can.
there.
If you're like, I'm going to focus on steps. Yeah, you can make the steps make the bulk of your points. But I think in most games, most points will come from crafting items. Because basically what you're doing in the game is you're going out and you're getting different resources in order to bribe or craft those items or whatever.
Yeah.
On top of that, the payoff with when you do the barter action to buy those cards, if you have one that requires a mammoth, the payoff on that's great because one, it's kind of understood that if you have mammoths, that you already controlled the Sabretooth for a lot of turns.
Absolutely.
Not necessarily, but hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, that would be the goal. Yeah. So not only are you getting a bunch of turns with better cards because it has a 5th action hand on it, but then you're also going to go around and turn in those mammoths that you collected to buy really, really really good payoffs. Like, I think you get 6 or 8 points or something.
Sure.
For those cards.
Yeah, but
instead of the normal like 4 or 5.
So the point I was going to make is that the fact that those stairs that give you points are opposite to the mammoths and the cards that give you game-breaking powers. You've got the cards and the mammoths on one side. On the other side, you've got the stairs and the water, which can be a wild resource. And you're never going to get both of those things. It has to be one or the other if you're going for one side or the other. And I think that's an amazing design choice, so that you really have to make these priorities with the few actions that you get every single time. And I really like it. I don't think it's a kid's game. I think it's a great adult's game. This is the kind of Euro that I enjoy.
Actually, I was going to say opposite. It's not something that would break out for a game day, but it
really?
Is. Yeah. It's still a family weight game for myself. I don't think.
Yeah, but family weight. Like, let me ask you this:
or me and you know, I at game day at my house. I don't see me grabbing the game and pulling it out. But for families or mixed kids and adults, I think it is a good time for everybody. But I
think it's to be honest with you, I think that the family-ness to it really shines because of the theme. More so than the actual
the family-ness of it, the artwork and everything is even more geared towards the younger crowd.
Yeah, but you could play it where you're not petting Honga, you're like feeding him human hands.
Yeah, I guess you could re-theme it.
If you wanted to make it more adult, you have to.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, here's what I'm saying. There's a reason why.
Yeah,
there's a reason why they are
to keep him in place.
There's a reason why they are retheming Splendor with Marvel Avengers.
Why?
Because Splendor isn't a very deep game.
Right.
Strategy-wise, it is, right? But the rule set's kind of light. And if you have it to where you're collecting like the crystals to the Thanos gauntlet or whatever,
right,
it's a much cooler theme for kids.
Sure.
If you retheme this with like zombies or something,
right,
then it wouldn't appeal to kids. So I think it's the theme that really is the kid aspect.
I would agree to that. If you retheme this game and made something else, it would maybe be something that'll pull out at game day. But as is, it looks like a kid's game, so it's not something I'm gonna.
It does look like a kid's game, yeah.
That's interesting. I will agree with that. Doesn't bother me a bit.
I don't mind it. I'll play this anytime.
Yeah, but,
bring it out.
But it's not something traditionally. I'm not going to take it down to Game Store and be like, "Hey guys, you want to play Honga with me?" They're going to be like, "You weird."
But coming from HABA, it makes sense because they always cater their games to families,
exactly.
At least in theme.
So, like I said, it's not something that you're going to go to GenCon or you're going to go down to, a game store and bring your HABA game and be like, "Hey guys, you want to play Honga with me?" Most people aren't going to be. No, most people. Adults aren't going to be like,
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I'll play some Animal Upon Animal any day. Let's bring it.
But in terms of the game itself, like just looking at the game, if you came to me and you said, "Would you like to play Honga or would you like to play Stone Age?" I'm going to say, "Yeah, let's play Honga." Actually,
I would say Stone Age.
I know,
sure.
I know you would. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. It depends. Knowing both of those, like this game is pretty short. I mean, we played it with, I think 4 players, so it was an hour or so.
I had played it with 5.
Was it 5?
I don't remember now. It goes up to 4.
Yeah,
no, it goes up to 5.
We played it with 5. We played it with 5.
We played it with 5, so it was a little longer.
Even.
I can see this being a good 3-player game. It's like every podcast, 3-player game.
It wasn't long though. It really wasn't long. For a game like this, there was very little downtime. The turns went so fast.
Yeah,
it did. It did feel like your turn came up pretty quickly, and you didn't have to wait very long.
That's a very enjoyable
and the other thing, there is no,
which is good for kids because their attention spans are short.
And it does have that playtime. It does have that you can plan ahead as well because no one's locking you out of spaces.
Right.
It just might influence what you do because now you're like, oh well, some people are moving up on the temple track. I'll jump on there a little bit just to get a point.
Yeah.
All right, final thoughts from me. I'll be picking this up. I do believe that it is fun. It's a good length. I'm not saying this game is like Splendor, but it has a strategic depth that Splendor has, like that same level if you were going to put it on a scale. It has the length of Splendor. It is that style of entertainment. You sit down for an hour, you get some pretty good strategy, not massively deep. It's not like crazy chess level or whatever.
Yeah.
And it supports up to 5, which is great.
Yeah, it was an hour and 10 minutes for 5 of us playing it for the first time. So
for a 5-player game with the amount of strategy you have in this, it's really good.
Yeah.
Very good. I recommend it.
Push up the elephants. Not the elephant track. Where are they?
They're mammoths.
Mammoth track, yeah. So in our play, we didn't push that up a lot, but that is something. If any of you guys out there playing it, you want some mammoths because there's quite a few cards out there that require them in order to
our
build.
shuffle of the bargain deck, a lot of the ones that required mammoths were like late game, not early game.
Yes.
So if it would have happened early game, I would have been more inclined
to push it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it was too late. I knew there wasn't that many rounds left, and I couldn't get any mammoths out there because it has to be pushed in a 5-player game like 5 spaces. So.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Eric, anything else? Final thoughts?
No, I mean, like I said, I didn't mind it. I think the artwork and stuff is, like I said, more geared towards younger players, but it gives you enough strategy and stuff like that where even adults shouldn't mind playing it. It gives you a lot of choices and pretty decent gameplay. So yeah, I recommend it.
George,
I'm picking this one up. This one, I'm going to choose this one over Splendor any day too. This,
I don't know if I go that far.
This one is, I think the art is charming. I think the production is fantastic because HABA always does quality stuff. Of course, we played it on the computer, so, the card thickness may not be great. I don't know, but definitely
HABA has good stuff. I can't
HABA's pieces are good usually. Yeah.
Their board, the player boards are even, it looks like this recess and stuff too, so
yeah,
they made some good design choices.
Yeah. And I really, really like the play of this one. The sort of quick play, but you're making these tactical choices, and there's always a trade-off as far as what you go for, and really pleasant experience. Definitely getting this one.
All right, that is Honga. So a third game we got on this podcast is Back to the Future, Back in Time.
This is a 2020 release. The designer is Prospero Hall. The artists are George Bletsis, Les McLean, and Steve Scott. And the publisher is Funko Games.
So in this game, this is a fully cooperative game where you're going to try to move the DeLorean throughout the city. You have to go back to Doc's garage, load it up with some stuff, and get it to one of the 3 spots at the end to get it ready to, go 88 miles per hour and hook on and get, where the lightning is and all that stuff. If you're familiar with Back to the
exactly.
Future.
Yeah.
The other thing you're trying to do is off to the side, there's a love meter, I think it's called. And it has like a picture of iconic picture from the movies where it fades out the brother and sister. Is it brother and sister?
Yeah.
I feel bad now.
Of Marty. Yes.
I grew up with this movie, but don't quote me on anything. All right, here we go. So around this picture though is a love meter. There's like negative values and it goes all the way up to positive values, and eventually it hits hearts. And you want to move around. There's like a city board that has Biff, George, and Lorraine on the board, and you need to get Lorraine and George in the same area. Kind of picture it like the city's like big circle. As far as spaces are concerned, there's one in the middle as well, but it's like a big circle, and they're going to be moving around and stuff based on certain cards that come out each turn. But you want to go and get them together so that you can do these challenges where you roll dice to try to get them to roll hearts to get them to like each other more, which is going to increase that love meter. So there's a turn track that is off to the side, and each space on this turn track will have different things that come out. Like sometimes there will be, what are they called? Trouble. Is it called Trouble? Yeah. Trouble cards that come out, and those will be kind of like event cards that you have to take care of by doing challenges. And everything in this game is a challenge, and all the challenge is rolling dice, and the dice will have different icons on them. There's 4 different types of dice. You can never roll more than 2 of the same version or 2 of the same color. So if you want to increase the love meter, you got to roll the pink dice, but you can add other dice because they have wilds on them as well. So it's worth adding those, but you can't add like 5 pink dice because there's only 2 of them in the game.
Yeah, you've got Biff and his gang running around causing trouble for you in the town.
Exactly. So the idea is you need to get that love meter up, also move around the DeLorean before the turn tracker gets to the end, because at the end, you need to have both of those things done so that all the events of the movie happen, and all the cool stuff going, all the flame on the ground and stuff. Anyway, your character, you're going to play either Marty, Doc, Jennifer, or the dog Einstein. Yes. And you start off with, I think, 5 different tiles, and these tiles are essentially different colored dice, or you can flip them over and move 3 spaces. On your turn, you can do as many actions as you want, basically. Your actions are essentially spinning these tiles. So if you want to go and do a check, maybe you have to move first. So you can flip a tile. You can move. When you move, you're allowed to move Lorraine or George with you as well. So you can go get them from one house and move them to another spot with George. And then you can flip over some more tiles to generate a dice pool to then roll them and try to move up the love meter or whatever. There's these challenges that come out as well. These are different than the trouble cards.
Opportunities.
And these challenges, opportunities, that's what they're called. You're going to do a challenge on the opportunity card where you're just going to try to get so many icons of whatever thing it needs, thematically speaking, and you'll get typically a reward, which will be like new power tiles that you put out. And maybe those will give you different things. Like for you could spin it when you roll a wild and it'll count as 2 wilds instead, or you'll add more to your dice pools, things like that.
Yep.
For the most part, that's a lot of the game. as the turn tracker goes, sometimes it'll hit spaces where you have to flip over pieces of the picture, and you can flip those back over, right?
No.
Oh, you cannot.
It's just fading out, and if it fades out all the way, then you're gone.
Yep.
Right. But if you get the love meter up enough to where it's in the heart section, it prevents them from being flipped over. So that's some of the goal of trying to do that quickly. Yeah. Other than that, we did play this game on Tabletop Simulator. So I will say that we did not get to experience the full awesomeness of the components of the game, but the church is an actual, is it town hall or is it church?
It's a town hall.
It's town hall. Yeah. The town hall is actually a 3D model.
Actually, sorry, it's the clock tower.
Clock tower,
in the town hall.
Yes. But it's an actual dice tower, so you can roll the dice through it. The dice, according to the videos that I watched and the component pictures I've seen online, they look super nice and super chunky. They're not so much that awesome on Tabletop Simulator, but they look pretty good. So, and the I don't know 100%, but it looks like the DeLorean might actually be, it's painted silver and stuff. It looks really good.
It does.
Anyway, George, let's start with you on this one. What'd you think? Because you played it a couple times.
Yeah, I've played it a couple times now, and I really did enjoy this one. I really like it at lower player counts where you have, more opportunity to do things yourself on your turn.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I will say is if somebody else is doing a challenge and you happen to be in the same space as they are, you can give them your dice. You can flip over your tiles to give them dice to use. The problem is then when it comes back to your turn, you won't have them available for yourself. But sometimes it's advantageous to do that.
So there's also, there's a limit on, per time that you're trying to do something, there is a limit of 2 dice. Not sure if that's because they only provided 2 dice to you. There's limits, the components that they had to put in the game, but, there is a limit on the dice that you can use.
It works out that way.
Let me add one thing about the dice too, because this is pretty important. When you roll the dice, not only do you have the symbol that matches the die, like the pink dice has the hearts, or the green dice have the DeLorean symbols or whatever it is.
Yeah,
that would say
flux capacitor.
Yellow dice did that,
or maybe the yellow dice did.
No, the yellow dice have speed.
Yeah,
speed for the DeLorean.
I forget the colors now because I was so focused on doing one job.
Yeah.
But the point is, they also have biff heads, and if you roll these, so when you roll the dice, you roll one time. All the biff heads get locked in, and you can roll the other dice as many times as you want, but they get locked as you roll biff heads, and those are bad.
Real bad.
So you don't want biff heads because they cause the love meter to go down.
They cause biff to move around toward...
Oh, but if he's on the same space as, George or whatever.
Or
Lorraine, he's going to move the love meter down.
Right.
So obviously, if you roll a ton of biff symbols, that's really bad.
He's out there interfering with their relationship.
Yeah, and I think that adding only 2 dice of a color kind of mitigates the ability, because if you could have 6 dice of one color, your chances are pretty good you're going to roll a ton of that symbol.
Yeah, much better. Sure.
Well, there's nothing that stops you from rolling 2 dice and then doing that same action and rolling 2 dice again. It just prevents you from rolling them all at one time.
Yes, but it's another action.
There's probably mechanics in the game that's also why they limit it, such as there's stuff that says reroll all your biff heads. So, if you roll 10 dice, there's a lot more mitigation in those 10 dice than it is for 2 or 3 or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely true.
I'll start off and say that maybe this game is kind of, with 4 people, I felt like, and it could be because I was playing one specific role. I mean, my role was I got some power tiles. I was focused on moving the love meter up.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I did. And maybe that was bad choices for us. Because it locks me into one thing. I mean, it's a good strategic choice.
Right, as long as you have the dice that kind of sets that route for you. If you have a lot of pink dice, that is
right, but it gets boring because at that point I'm just rolling dice. There's no strategic element of, I can do this and move here and do this. I mean, I guess really I was spinning the tile,
element is moving them around, putting them together, keeping them away from biff, and hoping for the best dice rolls. Or maybe getting opportunities that there's different things in the game that you can get like a camcorder or whatever else that might help you do that job.
Oh yeah,
that's true.
There are.
Either way, though, I thought it was pretty fun. If I was more of a Back to the Future fan, this game would have resonated with me a lot more.
Yeah, the theme really comes through in this.
The theme is insane. I mean, the theme on everything. Oh
yeah.
Everything, like all the cards, Oh, the other thing, the artwork, by the way, is not like movie stills.
No.
Or movie stills.
Well, things like that. Right.
I actually think that was a good choice.
It's like a graphic novel.
Mm-hmm.
More.
Yes.
Or like
it's all
cartoon
or a comic book.
Comic book, thank you. Comic book from the 50s or something.
So I think
I don't even know if from the 50s. I mean, it kind of looks like
maybe like 80s. 70s.
It looks more like modern day stuff.
No, it's the 50s. They went back to the 50s.
I suppose. If you look at artwork from the 50s and you look at this game, I'm not correlating that very well.
Oh, I mean, I hear what you're saying. Like the art is professionally done more than it would be in the 50s, maybe.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. I guess they tried to mimic the style, but make it more professional for today's standards. Yes.
Yeah. I agree with you.
I see what you're saying.
It's very nice.
But overall, I think the theme is really nice. I mean, all the flavor text and stuff, or at least the names of the events and the troubles and stuff that happen. Like everything that happens in the movie is like in this game.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was phenomenal. That was really cool.
Yeah, they integrated the theme really well. I would say it would be good for families, but it'd be probably depends on your family structure.
Depends on your family.
Like my kids, I actually asked them before we started the podcast, I was like, hey, do you guys know Back to the Future? And they're like, oh yeah, I remember seeing something about it, but they haven't seen it. So for our generation, I think is maybe the focus on this game. Maybe kids.
Then you bring up a good point because they're marketing this mass market. I think a lot of people are going to buy it.
Yeah. But I think it's going to be more of our generation people that play this than more younger kids or younger families. I'm not sure that they're going to want it for Back to the Future. Maybe they haven't watched it before.
Yeah, and
they kind of know what it is. But
the way that the turns work, you have all of these tiles that you can flip over and try to do all these different actions on your turn. That extends the length of an individual player's turn. And I think if you have a 4-player family, that's just going to be too long.
Too much downtime.
It's way too much downtime for it to come around to,
Except for my turn. My turn was fast, man. Move, roll dice, done.
So I really think this game shines as a two-player game, for couples that really like Back to the Future. This one is, I think, just really, really good.
In a 2-player game, so the players, the different characters like Marty and Doc, they all have a special power as well. In a 2-player, do you pick the 2 that you play with?
Yeah, you just pick 2. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
I can see that.
I mean, the special abilities were cool. I don't think they were game breaking or anything like that. And it doesn't seem like this game is like, I think that we were really tired when we played this, but I don't think the game is massively hard.
No, definitely not. It's just actually pretty easy.
Well,
pretty easy to teach, and that the rule set is not very
easy to understand.
That's what I'm saying.
Not that easy to win necessarily. Yeah, like you're going to lose this a few times until you figure out what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I don't think this is like Ghost Stories where you're going to get the crap beat out of you every time you play.
Right.
No, I agree. It's definitely not Ghost Stories level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Let's do some final thoughts on this, Eric.
I enjoyed the playthrough. I'm not sure if replayability is going to be there for myself on many repeated plays, but I did enjoy the time playing it.
I enjoyed it.
George?
Sorry, I enjoyed it as well. I think as a 2-player game, I would prefer this over Horrified in terms of, it's sort of the same weight. It's sort of the same
people,
idea.
Right?
Yeah, same designers and everything. I would go for this one as a 2-player game if I want just a co-op kind of a situation. But part of that I have to say is because Horrified is entirely pick up and deliver, and that's not my thing.
That's fair. For me, not my type of game. I don't tend to play I don't tend to buy a lot of co-ops. I tend to play a lot of them apparently. it's okay. Like I thought it was all right. It was enjoyable. It wasn't bad, certainly. And I think a lot of people are going to like this one, and it really is going to hinder on how much you like this theme.
Yeah.
Do you like
I
the
agree.
Back to the Future movie?
Yeah.
This is a fantastic game for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Period.
Absolutely.
I mean, it doesn't even matter because I think at some point, it doesn't matter how deep of a gamer you are, if the theme if it's something that you're passionate about, like old 80s movies or whatever, this theme is going to circumvent everything you like about board games and make you buy it. Even if it just sits on your shelf.
It is lovely. It is.
Yeah. So I think this is, if you like Back to the Future, it is a must buy for you. I think it's going to be really cool to play it and just have. Yeah. Unless you don't like to keep games around for no reason, then I would at least check it out and play it for sure.
Concerns about the higher player count and concerns about replayability, perhaps, once you figure out, the best way to get, best way to do what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much there is within the system to up that difficulty.
To expand it, right.
Yeah. But maybe there are ways. I'm always into house rules that do that. I'm sure I could figure something out. So
I will say though, if you don't like Back to the Future or you have no clue what it is, I don't think I could recommend this as a co-op you should check out first.
No.
But it wouldn't be a bad one to play. It just, I don't think if you take the theme away from it, the game isn't super interesting to me. It's okay. It's good.
It's pleasant. Yeah,
I wouldn't even say it's okay. I think it's good, but it's kind of straightforward. So
right. It's nice to have that, villain Biff running around getting in your way. It's nice to have someone to be upset against without having it be another player.
To blame your loss on. All right, well, anyway, that is Back to the Future, Back in Time. So for the last game on this podcast, we have A War of Whispers.
This is a 2019 game. The designer is Jeremy Stolzfus. The artist is Thomas Jedrzejczyk and Dan May. Apologies for those names. I'm sure that's not correct. And the publisher is Starling Games.
We should start having like the Olympic signs where it's like 5 out of 10. like everybody else on that podcast rates George's pronunciations.
Well,
he's got a hard job.
When there's a couple like S's and Z's next to each other, I know I didn't get that right.
It's like so A War of Whispers is basically a game where there is a world map that has all these different regions. There's 5 factions of the game. They're going to start off with every space under control of a faction. The trick is, though, this is more of like a Game of Thrones, if you read into the title very well, where you're not necessarily playing a faction. You're playing somebody behind the scenes influencing these factions to do certain things. And the idea is, at the end of the game, you get points. You get more points for the factions that control the cities that you want to win the most, right? So to start the game, you have a player board. You have 5 tokens, each token representing one of these factions. Those get shuffled up and placed on your board on the different, they're called betting tokens or something. This is like the factions you're betting on. And at the end of the game, whatever faction token is in your first slot, you're going to get 4 points for every city that faction controls. The second slot, you're going to get 3 points, then 2 points, then 0 points. Whatever the last faction is on your board will give you -1 point if they control cities. So you don't want that. That's your opposition. You try to stay, make sure they're not scoring cities or controlling them. So the board is this giant circle, which makes 2 things. One, it makes it look like a world globe, right? And the other thing is all the actions are around the outside of this board, much like in games where you have the score track around the outside. This is all the different actions. So the way a round kind of works, and you're going to play the game over 4 rounds, is each player is going to remove an agent. Obviously, this doesn't happen in the first round because no one has agents out. Then you're going to each in turn order place an agent, and then in turn order place a second agent. And where you're placing these at is around the outside of the board. There are all those actions. And so there's 4 actions for each faction. action and faction. This is going to tongue tie me in a little bit. There are 20 different action spaces. There's 4 for each of the factions, and they do different things, but we'll get into those in a minute. Once everybody has placed their agents out, then you take the turn marker and it goes around the outside of the map, doing each one of these spots or these actions with whoever put the agent there, with a slight caveat. So let's just take the blue faction. It has 4 action spaces, right? You have 1, 2, 3, and 4. If Eric places an agent in spot 1 and then George places it in spot 3, spot 1 will happen first. It has an agent. It's Eric. He's going to perform that action. Spot 2 does not have an agent. However, whoever controls the next agent in this faction will also get that spot. So George, being in spot 3, will also do spot 2 and 3. And then spot 4, which does not have an agent, doesn't happen. And then you move on to the red faction, which is the next set of actions. So to re-clarify this, if Eric had his agent in the first option of blue, and then George put it in the last option, which is 4, Eric will do the first action. George will do the next 3 actions.
Right, because you do all the blank actions ahead of you.
Exactly. Now, each action space has 2 different options, and you have to pick one of those options. There'll be stuff like get banners. Banners are little cubes that you place out on the different spots of the board. And much like in games like Risk, you're going to be moving these armies or whatever, these banners, from location to location to fight other factions, cubes, banners or whatever. Sometimes it'll be like get a banner for every farm that this faction controls. So there's farms and there's cities and there's towers. What are they called? Forts? Yeah, I think they're called forts. There's a limit to 4 banners per spot, except for a farm can have up to 6 in this spot. The forts, or whatever they're called, the towers, they will give you a bonus on defense of a banner. Because combat's pretty simple in this game. Cities don't do anything except for, obviously, at the end of the game, they score you the points based on which faction is scoring it. The way combat works is if you choose an action that has the little sword icon, you can make an attack. And all that does is you move cubes from one space to an adjacent space that has enemy cubes, and then you kill off 1-to-1 ratio. So if 4 blue move into an area with 3 yellow, then 3 yellow will die, 3 blue will die. You're left with 1 blue, which will now assume control of that spot. There's also cards in the game for each faction. Some of their actions will allow you to draw cards based on different things, like maybe draw a card for every 3 towers that faction controls, or just get a card, or maybe get 1 per every 2 farms, all that stuff. The cards will have 3 different abilities on it, and they require you to spend resources, basically. Each card has a faction symbol at the top left, which is, like a yellow resource or a red resource, or that faction symbol. Let's just say that. When you play a card, you have to discard a card that has the same symbol. So, like, for instance, the blue card, there's 3 different actions. There is the first action, which requires 1 blue symbol. You can do the ability. The second action is 2 blue symbols. You do the ability. The third action is a blue and a yellow. You do the ability. The card that you're playing counts as one of those symbols. So obviously, if you're playing a blue card, you meet the blue symbol requirement, but you might need another blue card to do the second action, or a yellow card or a red card to do the third action. The first and second ability, I'll get to that in a minute, but after these abilities just do typical stuff like game breaking rules and things like that. After all the actions have been completed for all 5 factions, the round kind of comes to an end, and then you're going to discard down to 5 cards if you have more than that. And then it gives you the opportunity to switch up your loyalties or whatever. So you're going to choose, if you like, you could choose 2 of your symbols or faction things that are on your player board and swap them spaces, because maybe you see that yellow's getting completely trashed and they have no chance of winning. So you put that in a spot maybe to give you 0 points or even -1 point, and then swap something like blue up a front. But when you do this, those two tiles become revealed for the rest of the game. So everybody knows what you're going for at that point, or has a better understanding of what factions you're rooting for. Then you start it over, do everything I just said 3 more times, and the game ends. The only other thing I will mention before we talk about our thoughts is that we did play with the advanced rule. There's one advanced rule in the rule book for the base game. And that is when you place an agent, you can also put it on one of the spaces on the board, and it counts as a city, but it only scores for you. You can have 2 of these out on the board anywhere, but you can't have them both in the same spot. Other than that, we're going to start with Eric. Give us a point or two, and then we'll discuss.
Sure. Yeah. So I'll go ahead and start with the things that I kind of liked. Did like that what they're trying to do in the game is bring in some intrigue. I like that you don't own a faction, but it is an area control game where you can whisper in the ears of any of these factions and move them around, do actions.
A war of whispers.
Yeah, so even if it's a faction that you want to lose at the end of the game, have no cities, you can take over some of those actions to maybe get you cards, or use those armies to attack another faction that maybe you don't care to win as well. So I really liked the things that they did implement on the direction that the game was trying to flow. I think they kind of missed the mark a little bit on how they put those the factions, because you get them randomly, which is kind of bad enough because if I want the brown faction to be first place and you want the brown faction to be first place, then we're both trying to go for one of these factions, making it possibly the favorite, making someone else flip to also wanting this as their favorite faction because they want all those points for the cities as well. So at the end of the game, a lot of times, I believe that most people are going to have pretty much similar lineups. It's going to be really coming down to where was your number 2 and number 3 is really going to be a determining factor of who ends up winning the game, not pushing for a specific faction maybe.
Right. I have to agree with you there. I feel like this game was just so close to just greatness. It could have been, just the standout game of the year for me. And it does fall down on that fact that by the end of the game, everyone's going to be pretty much around the same, you know who's winning, what color is doing well. And you're going to be able to shift yourself to be at least similar to the other players, if not exactly identical. And that because is an issue.
As the gameplay goes on, you kind of get an idea of who's the top faction.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're going to want those points, and you're going to be jumping ship and making that your favorite faction. It would be silly not to unless somehow you yourself can change the tide of that. But typically, that's not going to be the case. You don't have enough actions to make big changes in one turn by yourself. So,
yeah,
I say that's the downfall. I think with maybe a little bit of play testing, maybe some tweaks, it could have been quite better. Maybe not doing a random selection, but you get a tile that kind of outlines what you are, and everybody gets a predetermined but random tile that says these are your faction lined up. You can't change it, and then you kind of work on that. You might have your favorite faction. You alone have that, and maybe you're working on with your second faction with someone else, or your third faction with someone else as well. Something like that.
I kind of see that, yeah, because otherwise, if you randomize it and everybody has brown at first, and everybody's working towards brown, by the time it gets too far in, and brown's like destroying everything, it's pointless to try to go against the grain,
right,
and swap it out. But if you had these tiles that said, "Here's a lineup,"
that is their lineup, and you can't change it. Then you have
it's like a mathematical where you take each tile and it's like, it varies.
Right, exactly.
Mathematically, right. That actually would be pretty cool. I like that.
Just changing something like that, I think, would put this game way up. And
it's not like you could guess what other people have because there's at least
you might know that there is someone else out there that likes green as well, but you don't know who it is.
Oh no, isn't it 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1? Isn't that like 5 plus 4? It's not times, but 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. That equals how many combinations of those tiles there could be.
Okay, but you're not going to want, as the game designer, you're not going to want starting tiles that are still pretty similar to other ones. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm not saying, no, it's not going to be pretty similar.
So you're not going to use all those combinations.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. So there's 15 combinations, but at the same time, 2 of those would be like the exact same, but 2 of them switched.
That's not going to work.
Yeah. But I mean, even then, though, with 15 combinations in a 4-player game, you have that to like maybe 8. And that's still enough variety, but not so random.
Yeah.
I mean, the randomness didn't bother me so much, but I can see that sometimes you play this game and it's just kind of meh.
Well, the randomness isn't so bad because you can change that as you play through. So, whatever.
Okay, here's an idea.
But if you couldn't change it and it was random, I think that would be a problem. But the problem comes out to be you can swap these. You can't swap them exactly how you want to because you have to, if it's in your first spot and your third spot, you have to switch some spots. So you can't like change everything around.
It's not like you get to reorganize your board at the end of every round. Yeah. Right.
Okay. How about this? How about you have these starting configurations and that's locked in. You can't change those. You have this secret card that shows you those 5, right? But then you have 5 more tokens that you get to decide or randomly, either one, or you get another card, whatever. And that's how you start. And those tokens are like additions or also multipliers but you can change those around, but the original ones, you can't. You know?
Something like that.
Something to really break up the scoring a little bit more so that you have some control, but you don't have all the control. And so you're still going to want brown to do pretty well if that's your number one thing when you started the game. You're going to fight people for that.
Mm-hmm.
But not entirely, because you can sort of shift it around and make it a little bit less important to your plan.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, there's all kinds of ways to do it. I guess we'll focus more on what's the actual game.
Trying fixing it. I think it can be fixed.
It seems like an issue.
We put our heads together, we'll fix this, we'll buy the game, and we'll play it our way. But
either way, I will say that I agree with you, Eric. I do like what you're trying to do because you're behind the scenes. You're influencing what's happening. Mm-hmm. What is actually happening in all these actions is very simple. Simple.
Right.
Because you're just putting cubes out, moving cubes around. That's it.
Or moving things around to do attacks, putting out more banners, or getting cards. Which what did y'all think about necessarily doesn't help that faction, but it might help you because those banners. I don't know if we talked about it prior, but those cards, even though it's a yellow faction card, you can use that card to help another faction. So you can.
Yeah, I didn't mention that, but that is important to know because you get tons of cards from blue. You don't even care about blue, and then you use those cards on other factions' turns to help.
Yeah,
them
that's
out.
So good.
It is pretty good.
And
I like that.
The actions work around the circle and how you do that and putting it out and deciding what you do in what order because other things are going to fill up.
A lot of times.
So good.
It kind of affects on what, I don't really want to go to red, but if I don't, Tim's going to get 4 actions. So I got to stop that. So really weird.
That was so good. And also the idea that maybe you don't want this faction to do well. So you're going to go and make sure that you're in control of what that faction does and just make them do stupid things.
Right.
That's tremendous.
And I do like how in the beginning of the game, we thought that the ability where like if I put an agent farther on in the faction and nobody picks those things, you get to do all those actions, That's cool, but as the game goes on, every player is going to have one additional agent in the game.
Yeah, it's filling up.
Because you remove one and you add another. So the first round, everybody has 2. The second round, everybody has 3 out there, then 4, and then 5.
Yeah.
So all the actions get, like, that ability is better in the beginning, or that strategy is better in the beginning. But then as the game goes on, all those spots start getting filled up. It's not as cool to do, but you still need to make sure you're there, because if you're not,
there's clever things.
It's really well done.
Clever things you can pull off in this game. It was so enjoyable. I just think it's, like I say, it's so close to just being a great, great game. And I'm really looking forward to playing it with the expansion, see how that changes it up.
Really looking forward to 2.0.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I don't really care too much about the beginning part. I do agree that the scores were very similar in the very end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the issue.
That is kind of bothersome to me. I think it should be a little bit different, to where the scoring's a little bit different. But overall, the game was enjoyable. It was fun. Yeah. The only thing that my biggest problem with the game is I don't like the fact that the faction cards, like the first 2 abilities, are always the same. It's like the blue cards, the first 2 abilities are identical on every single copy of the cards.
Well, but I guess once
the third ability is the only thing that changes.
Once you know what those cards are, now you know where to go to get the thing that you want to do.
Right. So I do like it when there's more variation. I'm going to go to this place to get cards, and it's going to be maybe more so in one strategy or whatever. Maybe these are all kind of attackish type of cards, but they're going to be a little different. I do like it that the games that give you a little bit more variety in that respect, but I didn't necessarily mind it, because I think in subsequent plays, I want to get this type of card. Yeah, so I'm going to go over here to get a card that allows me to do X.
Right.
So
absolutely.
Well, then the only other thing I will mention is the game did feel like a big build up for 3 rounds, and then all the cool stuff in the game happened in the last round. And when I say cool stuff, it's like the experience of the game is the last round.
Yeah, I kind of
because that's when people.
Too. Yeah, you make your final move. You put out new new cities that only help you. I think is that variant, or is that part of the game?
That's the advanced variant. Okay. I mean, you could do it beforehand, but it doesn't make as much sense.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's a little bit more intrigue that happens in the final round than ever before.
Right.
Not a fan of that variant at all.
Oh, yeah.
No.
The advanced rule?
Do without that variant, but...
Where you get to put down
right.
one of your token as a city rather than using an action.
Dude, I feel like that's the only thing that really made the last round great. Because you put your city out and that person wants that, and then you just screw them over. Or
try.
Yes, but it's too late by then. I think if you're going to do that, it should be earlier in the game. Not like you shouldn't be able to do it in the last round, so that you are.
I mean, that could be cool.
Staking your claim and saying, "I want this." Like you're outing yourself, basically.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
That's fair. Even though the game starts with the whole board seeded with all these forts and farms and cities, and with all the different banners out there, they kind of give you it's not like the board starts off blank.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I almost wish the game started on the 4th round of the game. Or maybe the 3rd round of the game.
The
first and second round.
I think there's only 3 rounds.
There's only 4th rounds, but what I mean is the amount of... There's 4 rounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the stuff that's happening on the 3rd round and the 4th round is really, really fun. The first and second is like this build up, but no one knows what's kind of happening. And I kind of get it. You need that to be able to watch what other people are doing.
Right.
But I don't think you can get as much out of those turns as you can on the 3rd and 4th. Now, you play this game 50 times and you come to me as an expert and say, well, here's the reason. Okay, that's fine. But I'm not going to play it 50 times if I'm not enamored with it in the first 5. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I just think all the excitement for the first plays is in the late half of the game. And I wish that it was a little bit more spread out.
I think that is indicative of a lot of better games. You kind of want to build up to the end. If you're building down, then that's kind of sucks for a game.
Well, but I always say that because the game just then ends. Like the game was 6 rounds and all this cool stuff's happening on the 3rd and 4th and 5th and 6th.
Yeah.
Then a lot of the game is like, wow, there's so much intrigue and messing with each other and doing all this stuff. But it's like,
yeah, I kind of get it.
Everybody's kind of sneaking around and walking around like eyeballing each other. And then it's just a fist fight and the game's over.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by that. Okay. So, I don't know. I'm looking forward to playing it again, though.
Maybe.
Especially if there's an expansion.
Maybe if there were 2 scoring rounds at the end of the second round and at the end of the 4th round.
I don't know if that would change much. But
it would give a lot more weight to the first 2 rounds. If it sounds like what you want.
Yeah, but if you get points earlier on, then you're just lucky based on how your like your faction tokens came out in the beginning.
Right, with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. If we play as a whole bunch, it probably does make sense the way it is. But initial plays, it is kind of rough on the scoring. I don't like games where at the end it's like 10 to 12.
And
I think it was higher than that, but yeah, either way, it was a fun game. I'm looking forward to playing it again. And I think that it is unique. I don't think a lot of games are doing this stuff. I mean, I like the fact that you're just kind of sitting back and playing God, I guess is a good way to say it. Yeah, because you don't really care. I mean, it's like, well, if blue end up sucking, I'll just switch over.
I really like that. There's so many things about this game that I like so much.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't feel mean, even though it's a war game and things are, getting blasted off the board.
There's some mean stuff that happened in that last round, though.
It can happen. But most of the game, it doesn't feel mean because you don't even know who's who, really. So.
Yeah.
That's true, too. So, yeah, I can't pick on George because I don't even know what he is.
And you might be secretly picking on me, and I'm sitting there hating it. But I can't show you that, which is so good.
Well, also, another thing that I really like. Or you can
mislead them, and they're hating on you, and they're actually just helping you out.
say my favorite faction was red. And Tim's doing all this stuff that's advancing red. Now, I can kind of back off, and I don't even have to do anything with red and let kind of Tim take over that. I can focus on other things.
Right.
So I like those aspects.
It's got a lot of cool stuff going on that I don't think a lot of board games have ventured into. Mm-hmm. And I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on the 2.0. I think maybe the expansion is going to make this one rock. And if it doesn't, maybe it needs another 3.0 or something.
I think it really needs, even if they just tweaked the rules and came out with a errata or something and was like, hey, we messed up. After you guys told us about all these playthroughs, just changes something.
Yeah.
And it kind of fixes those issues. I would be all in.
Yeah, me too. Yep. Looking forward to that. I'm sure it's going to happen. The game is far too good not to have it.
Well, the only other concern I would have with the game, in a long-term play, I don't really care about it right now, is I wonder how truly balanced the factions are. I mean, they have different actions and different ratios to what they get based on the farms and stuff they have. But the locations on the board, like for instance, blue only starts with 1 city, whereas brown starts with 4.
Right.
Is it much easier to make brown a powerhouse than it is to make blue? You know what I mean?
Yeah, possibly.
That's something you got to play a lot of times before you really understand.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But I wonder, and I'm not worried about the short term or the mid term, but I mean, if you play this game 50 or 60 or 70 times and you're like wanting to be some kind of expert tournament player, are they truly balanced on the initial setup in the locations and all that stuff?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. But on the other hand, does it matter? Because you get to choose your factions. So,
I mean,
yeah.
but what I mean by that is percentagely, maybe yellow or maybe green has the best chance at winning.
Or getting the most cities.
Or getting the most cities based on how they start and where they can go. Maybe blue is always if you played this game 1,000 times with different people and you mapped out which faction scored the most points and did a Excel spreadsheet, is brown always likely to win over blue?
Yeah. Get all that data and be like, all right, I know that blue it takes first place 60% of the time. So no matter what my board tells me, I can always switch it to blue and work on blue since the beginning of the game.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. I wonder if that is a thing.
No, I'm sure that it will become a thing after there's enough playthroughs and data for that.
Yeah.
Not gonna worry.
I don't know. Either way, I might. I guess let's just do final thoughts because this one's getting long. But for me, I don't know. I debate picking this up. Although after seeing the deluxe version, I won't pick up the base game. I got to get that deluxe version.
Yeah, well,
the board has printed cities and printed farms and printed forts.
Mm-hmm.
That looks bland. The deluxe version has 3D models for all these things. They never move, but once it's also a visual aid because if, whatever region it is, like if it's a green region to start with, it's always green unless there's other factions banners in that spot. And then if there is, you can swap out like the actual tiles. Like you can remove like the fort and put like the red fort in because red came and took it over. And so it just visually looks easier on the eyes than the printed thing. So if I pick this up, it's going to have to be the deluxe version.
Okay. That's fair.
Eric?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like I said, for me, I like that. There was a lot of things I liked. Just kind of missed a mark on how the end game kind of plays out and how similar the positions of everything is with everybody. So for me, it is a pass right now unless they come out with something that kind of fixes those issues for me.
George, anything
similar?
For you?
I have the same idea about it. I think it's definitely on my radar. I want to see how it plays out. I want to play it some more, and I'm not picking it up right now. I'm gonna probably see how they modify it and what people come up with in terms of variants for the game, and then I'll probably be right back in because it's
you and the house rules.
It could be my Game of Thrones game. It's
oh yeah, definitely.
So
it's almost there.
So close,
but yeah.
Well, cool. That is a War of Whispers. So for our main topic of the podcast, we're talking about GenCon in online or virtual conventions. And I'm going to start off with a little bit about GenCon and my experience with it, since out of all of us, I think I put the most time into it. I guess you could call it time. You can multitask with these cons, man. You could be like doing something for the con and then playing your Switch at the same time.
Right.
It's kind of interesting. Not that people don't just automatically bring their Switches to gaming conventions anyway, but you get the point. All right. So just to dive straight into it, I will say that the two big things about GenCon is they had the Looking Glass, which is essentially a website that has a constellation of stars, which each star you click, it looks like a supernova or something. Supernova, like a nebula with all these different little icons. And when you click the icon, it would show you stuff about the vendor. This was crap. I mean, dude, I'm sorry. This was
that at least visually appealing? I didn't really look at it.
No, it was annoying as crap. It was annoying.
Because they gave you a separate way to actually access all this as well. You didn't actually have to
Which is the only way I access it.
Yeah. That's the only way to do it.
It's like looking at, I'll tell you exactly what it's like. I have a treasure box that has all these dice in it, and I just dumped them on the ground, and I'm standing above them looking down at them, and I'm like, I'm not going to be like, that D20 looks great.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing appealing to this. It was almost like it's clunky.
And you can't use it to plan out your visit to GenCon either. If you're looking at a screen full of 100 things.
No, I think it's just there just to spotlight publishers that were at GenCon online. Or
I suppose it basically was like a virtual vendor hall, except for this vendor hall was very lackluster because you click on a certain vendor and some of them just said exhibitor. What are you exhibiting?
That is their fault. That's not GenCon's problem.
That is their fault. That's not GenCon. However, GenCon was probably charging an exorbitant amount of money to put your website on there. $600 to put your website. $500 to have a picture.
I imagine the size of the icon in the Looking Glass.
Yeah,
that would depend on how much they were paying, and I don't feel they would get their money's worth from that. I really don't.
I do see that there's different sizes. I'm at the website right now.
Are you going back to it? Yeah. So I don't know if they made this super expensive. I don't see any vendor getting their money back from this at all.
I just wonder how many new people coming into GenCon had never been to GenCon before and thought, you know, I'm going to go look at this and just click on the biggest icons. That's what I'm going to do. I don't think that many are going to do that.
No, I didn't click on the biggest icons. You know what I ended up doing is I just clicked on the left on exhibitors and I went through alphabetically through everything.
Yeah, same here.
All of it. I went through all of it.
That's what I did too, yeah.
And here's what I'll say. This part isn't GenCon's fault. This is the exhibitors, and obviously you have to cut everyone's slack at this point because you can't complain too much. It's the first cons ever. So there was the virtual gaming convention because obviously Origins got canceled. There was a virtual gaming con, which was a lot different than what Origins and GenCon is. Yeah. So it's GenCon is a pioneer at this point in online conventions for board gaming.
Well, there's been quite a few prior.
No. For this type of convention.
Or this large of one.
Yeah.
Or this large, but I mean, other online conventions, I mean, what are they doing?
A lot of the same things.
Name one. Do you know any?
I mean, they just had that Board Game Geek plus Dice Tower Con. I forgot what they called it. That's
the virtual gaming con. That's what I was saying. That is different.
They have sign-ups for games on Board Game Arena and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All that was for is playing board games. This is the first convention that actually started to have like all the webinars and seminars.
No, they had Renegade Online had webinars and seminars and stuff as well. Not to this extent for sure, but and it's more a publisher.
Well, okay. Either way, that was like weeks before GenCon. Mm-hmm. So it's not like GenCon had a lot of data to go off of.
Oh yeah, I mean,
they had to design this at the same time,
right?
Is what I mean. So either way, point is the exhibitors is a big thing too. I mean, there weren't this amount of exhibitors at the virtual gaming con. I don't even know if there were any.
I'm sure there were some exhibitors.
I'm sure they have website links and stuff, but not from the aspect that GenCon tried to make this exhibitor hall like you were at a convention. Point is, though, here's the thing. You got to have deals, period. Like, you got to have something.
And you got to have a place to find
the coupon
those.
book. The coupon book is great at GenCon. It has a lot of this brings people to your booth. And so there's nothing like that in existence here. There's no reason to go visit these different, some of these companies had deals going on, but you had no clue unless you actually went to their website. So if you went to the vendor list on the Looking Glass and it brought up the vendor, then it might show like some pictures of the games or whatever that they have. And it's like, visit their website. All. Or it had like a GenCon, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a promotional link. And you click there and maybe it might take you to their web store. Yeah. But maybe they have something going on where it's like free shipping during GenCon, or if you buy any of our new releases, you get 15% off, things like that. A few companies put those in the actual Looking Glass vendor thing that pops up, and that was awesome.
Absolutely.
So a lot of them did not. And I think that going forward, that's a very strong thing for vendors to put on there, because I will click your stuff if you have like a coupon code. Because if I'm going onto your website, normally I can see the coupon code because you have it plastered on social media or on your website. But if you want to give the GenCon attendees something specific and you can only get the GenCon code by going to the vendor thing, I mean, obviously everybody's going to share it or whatever. Or you can just find it pretty quickly. But the fact that you could integrate that into your, vendor spotlight is cool. I think they should do more of that. Obviously not everybody can give away all kinds of deals and stuff, but I thought that was a missed opportunity on the vendors. A lot of the vendors.
Absolutely agree with you there. They need a virtual GenCon coupon book. They really do.
Yes. Or even if it's like, buy stuff, use this coupon code, you get a free promo that's GenCon specific.
Yeah, because that's usually a pretty big thing for GenCon, and this year it just was.
That's like 90% of the coupon book.
It was really hard to find. A lot of the times at GenCon, you don't really get a deal on the games. You're paying more for the games, I feel, at GenCon.
Yeah, you're paying MSRP.
You're paying MSRP rather than getting
discount,
cool stuff from miniature market deals.
We're not used to that. We're not used to buying games MSRP when we're doing it online, and this was all online. So it felt different.
Yeah. There is a difference between going to a physical convention and buying a game for $60 that came out that day.
Right.
Typically a month or two before it actually gets released.
And you walk back to your hotel and you play it with your buddies. Yeah.
Yeah. No one, you're one of 100, 200, 300 people that are playing it right now.
Yeah. But that's
exactly.
different.
And then you could talk about it the next day and people get jealous. You get that bragging rights going on.
It's worth paying a little extra to be able to play it right then. But if you have to buy it online and now you're waiting on shipping anyway. Yeah,
it doesn't incentivize it at that point. So why would I do that when some of these games are already released on, they're already released in retail and I can just go on the website and buy it for cheaper. Even just going to Amazon at that
And a lot
point.
of those promotional links took you to Amazon for certain companies.
Some of them did, yeah. Because maybe they don't have their own web store, so they're selling through Amazon fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
So the Looking Glass was okay. I said it was crap. I'm going to stick with that. It was garbage. You know what I expected before I went in, and I expected too much. I apologize.
Expectations versus reality.
I want to be able to click on these different vendors and take me to like a live webcam of them sitting in their booth.
Their booth at home.
You know what I'm saying? That would be like a virtual con. Like you could see like their booth and actually shop their booth or whatever.
Hi, Tony Galati.
Put your 3D goggles on.
Right, yeah. Now, you can't, I get it. Some of these companies, they're ran by people who, that's their second job. They're a business on the side. It's not like they have their full inventory in their basement that they can set up all this crap for. So I expected way too much thinking that going into it. So that's an unrealistic expectation for me, although it would be supremely awesome. Like, could you imagine that? You like go in, you're like, oh man, check it out. You can ask questions. It's like, hey, how can I help you?
I expected all the like dealers and people to be at their separate booths in the GenCon exhibit hall, just not with people walking past.
Yeah.
So they're all isolated from each other. And then you could just do like a virtual tour, like Google Street Maps, walking between the booths.
Yeah. That would be awesome. Really, I mean, basically, if it turns into, oh crap. What's that movie? The virtual reality movie that came out.
No clue.
Come on. You got to do it.
Don't know.
The video gaming movie that just came out like a couple years ago. Ready Player One.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It would just be like that. Like if we're just in our houses and all we do is get on VR, that would be how it works.
That's what we want.
Maybe next year.
It would be great. It would
maybe
be
a few years from now.
But considering what we got, it wasn't. I don't know. It was rough. It was pretty rough.
Either way, I would have rather clicked on it through the Looking Glass, be able to click on a vendor, have one page, like a sales sheet of everything you have with pictures, like a menu at a store or like a restaurant, instead of me going to every single vendor's website to their web store and looking through there.
Yeah.
It needed to have like a menu item thing for those companies so I can quickly look through and look at stuff.
Well, they did have the GenCon game store. Did you go to that?
I did. And that one during GenCon was free shipping as well.
Oh, okay.
And I ended up picking up 2 titles from that. Both of them very small, actually. I got Spicy, the card game.
Oh, okay, yeah.
With the tigers Spicy. And the spicy food. And with the bluffing, I really thought that was great. And then I picked up a 2-player game called T for 2. And it's honestly glorified war. Like the actual mechanic is war. You flip over a card out of your deck, but then you're deck building at the same time. So you're trying to plan ahead as to what's coming up. And the difference between your card and the other player's card is what lets you make those deck purchases. So in the end, it's actually a really clever, fun, easy 2-player game. So those are the 2 I picked up.
Nice. I did pick up a few things, but I bought it from the actual companies.
Oh, okay.
You'll be excited. One of them is the upgrade kit to, Folklore.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. I want to play this so
bad. Yeah, look for that in a few years. I mean, I have it. It came in the mail today, actually.
But we won't play it forever.
By the time we get together. So the Looking Glass was interesting, and then they had the Discord channel, which was actually pretty cool. Although I wish they would have integrated these a little bit more. It seems like there was a few different panes of glass that you had to look through for GenCon.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of Discord channels that made no sense. Like they had a food truck channel and people were like showing what food they made for that day and stuff. I guess that's kind of neat. I mean, there was socialism, social stuff.
So there's always something like a pet channel and people go in there and post pictures of their pets.
So, I actually did find it pretty interesting that there were so many role-playing games just exhibited in their like Twitch channel or their board game or their GenCon channels, so that a lot of the time.
So you can watch them play.
And that doesn't usually happen. If you're at Gen Con, you don't get to just walk up to somebody's table and be like, I'm going to sit here. You guys.
It is kind of awkward. Can I just watch y'all play Shadowrun?
All right.
So it is kind of cool to actually see how the game works, and you get to see the mechanisms of it and that sort of thing. But at the same time, I don't really enjoy sitting around listening to people play role-playing games that much either. So I don't know.
Yeah.
How it's useful in a certain sense, I guess, but not for me personally too much.
Speaking of that too, like when I was talking about the different panes of glass, you kind of had 3 major GenCon things. You had the Discord, you had the Looking Glass. I mean, I guess you can count the game store as well. And then you had the GenCon Live or GenCon TV Twitch channel. And so there's like 3 things to go through. It's almost like they should have put all these on the GenCon website. I mean, obviously the Looking Glass was, but maybe
they really should
have the Twitch thing on there as well. I mean, I don't know if they could do the Discord like that or whatever, but you know what I mean? Like kind of limit where all of your sources of information are coming from. It was just too much stuff everywhere.
Yeah, because every one of these companies that you can go to, they could have their own Twitch as well.
Yeah.
Or own Discord. I hated that, dude. I hate it. Going through the exhibitor links, you click it, it's like, open your Discord channel. I don't want to have 50 million Discords open.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. And I never did that either. If they wanted me on Discord, they'd lost me as a customer.
Well, although I will say that what they were trying to do is if you clicked it and went to their Discord, then you can actually have a customer service like, oh, what do you got in stock? Tell me about your game or whatever. And they can sales pitch you and stuff like that.
Okay, well, they should tell me that then. Don't just say,
it was not
on my Discord,
noted.
but we're going to tell you why,
Yeah. You had to kind of done it once to be like, oh, okay, that isn't too bad. Because you can get in there and look at games they have, or they have their own like, sometimes they'll have their own channels on what demos they're showing off or like their schedule for their Gen Con, stuff like that. I don't know. So can this be refined? Yeah, I think so. 2 other things I'm going to mention real quick is the webinar seminar things. Those were kind of neat. I did get in on 3 or 4 of those actually. A lot of them has to do with like marketing podcasts and stuff. So it wasn't really board gaming. Well, I guess it was board gamer related, but it didn't have to be.
Right.
Because you can apply that to any podcast really. Yeah. And I watched the Restoration Games one just so I can hear them talk about the Hero Quest Legacies trademark. And they were just like, look, we hate talking about stuff that isn't set in stone, things like that. Obviously, the trademark got out. That's a public information thing. And we have to just say that part of the steps to take to go forward into a production of a trademark that's around is you have to register the trademark in case you do get it.
Right.
So it was kind of disappointing because they're basically saying we have nothing right now. This isn't like a
this was step 1. I guess step before 1.
It's like step 0.
Yeah.
So, but it could lead to something promising, but otherwise their whole thing was pretty cool. I watched a little bit of the CGE stuff that Tony Galati was doing.
I did too. Did you look at the Lost Ruins of Arnak?
No, that was at a time when I couldn't be at my computer.
That one looks pretty interesting actually. And I mean, it didn't really have the feel of a CGE game to me, but I think the mechanism by which it plays is going to be pretty interesting. It seems more like a straightforward kind of Euro game than anything else.
Oh, I got more interested. Go ahead. Continue on.
All right, yeah.
It didn't have like the quirky, funny stuff that I look for in a CGE game, but that's cool. Obviously that's not the only thing they do. They have, it's a game where you play out these cards in your hand and you have to travel by boat or by foot to these various areas in the ruins and then collect things. And I'm not going to do this justice, but you should take a look at it because it really does seem like it's trying to do a couple of different things and it's quite well produced.
Yeah. I mean, I'm interested. I mean, if it's a CGE Euro,
yeah,
that sounds pretty good. The last thing I'll talk about is kind of can cross over to any convention, but paying to play these games on Tabletop Simulator is interesting.
Well,
because
there's two parts about that. For us, we have people that already do it, so I don't see that maybe we might be interested unless it's something like, oh, I can hop in this, someone teaches it to me and talks about it. So that part is nice, but just playing games in general, I don't feel the need to do that myself.
Well, we've already invested the $20 or whatever it is to have Tabletop Simulator, so
yeah.
The $2 per session
I think that's
is rough to pay.
Yeah, the only ones that would be cool is like if the game is not on Tabletop Simulator and the person who's running the game launches the game. Like that would be okay. Mm-hmm. But I mean, those are very specific ones.
Right.
I mean, maybe the tournaments are pretty cool.
Yeah, there wasn't enough tournaments. I would have figured that, GenCon for a lot of people is all about the tournaments, be U.S. champion or whatever.
Yeah.
And there was only a handful of different tournaments available. So that was a little disappointing.
Yeah, we had that conversation where it's, we didn't really feel like playing any of the games, but then we're like, oh, let's do some tournaments because you waste a tremendous amount of time at GenCon doing it. But doing it online, all right.
Right, yeah. Well, I can't go to GenCon, but at least I can do some GenCon tournaments.
Right. Yeah. Which is the whole reason I did webinars and seminars, because I don't attend a lot of those at GenCon because we have so much else to do that it was kind of fun. And actually, I learned quite a bit. So those were actually pretty cool. But at the same time, they were on Twitch. And you didn't even have to you didn't have to have a GenCon badge.
All right.
You could just go to their Twitch channel.
Are they saved somewhere? Can you watch them later?
Probably. More than likely, you could go to YouTube or something and see it after the fact.
Yeah.
That seems like it would be a useful thing, if a lot of these games that are being demonstrated.
But at that point, do you even need a convention for them?
Well, right, exactly. But a lot of these game demonstrations, they should put that out on YouTube if they have a new game that's coming out and now they have someone who wants to teach you the game and do a really crisp professional demo. They only have to do it one time and then put that on the web,
Crisp. I like it.
Yeah.
So not really so much focused on GenCon, but online conventions in general. What are you kind of taking away from it so far? Meh, yay, great, awesome. Let me ask you this: next year, when hopefully when conventions are back, should they still do some online conventions, or are they kind of like whatever?
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people that still enjoy them. So for those people that can't go to GenCon anyway, I think it's a good way for them to kind of take part, as instead of just Gen can't and you might do something else. You can still kind of be integrated. And this way, if they still keep their online presence for GenCon Online and kind of intertwine it with the GenCon experience on the ground, I think it'll be nice for those people that can't make it or maybe prefer to do it online. So yeah, I think they should still continue it on. Myself, I didn't see the value in it as much, but that's going to be from my perspective and what I get out of it.
I think if you play RPGs, this was the best 4 days ever.
So RPGs, there was all kinds of RPGs. There might have been more RPGs events than board gaming events.
I think probably. And they were interesting to sort of look in on, not for a long period of time, but just sort of to just get an idea. It's interesting.
Yeah, speaking of that, George, that is one thing that's very lacking is you can't walk over and just watch somebody play a board game for 10 minutes. It would also be cool if these companies, I don't know, it is new stuff, so it's hard to get mad or criticize too hard at the companies because all these vendors are trying new stuff for the first time, Yeah. And so is GenCon. So I guess I'm, being sensationalist for podcast more so than anything.
Overall, the price was right. GenCon offered free badges. So
that's true. Yeah, it was free. So I can't complain that much.
Absolutely true.
If you wanted to, proceed into any events, a lot of the seminars and stuff are free. There's some events, you had to pay for tournaments. That probably just helped in paying part of that, the prize pool for some of these tournaments. But otherwise, most events were $2. So, that's not too bad, considering your ticket was free or your badge was free.
I know that it is last minute and so many things are up in the air because of the COVID situation and everything. But I just want to say, like, the thing that they do where they have, Board Game Geek people go and talk to a representative of the company and they present a new game to that at that time. I really think that those companies should try a little harder when that person, whoever they send is doing that they make sure that person is actually good at presenting what their game is and is coherent in the message that they're presenting.
Sure.
There were just too many times that whether it was I won't say that's unique to online conventions. That's just in general, right?
Yeah. There were just too many times where I was trying to learn about a new game and I thought it'd be so nice if I could understand this individual who is trying to teach me this game. And if they sounded like they knew what they were talking about, it was rough and disappointing. And I don't think it needs to be that way. Is my point.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if they want to, I don't know if they want to hire a professional like Tom Bassel
George's
or something.
Information down here.
That's right.
Like a George Breden or anything.
That's right, companies. You need someone to be a spokesperson. But no, really, they should find somebody who is
sure,
able to do so in a way that can get the message out.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, most of that's related to Gen Con, but it kind of crosses over. I think that we can have 1 to maybe 2 virtual conventions a year, and it would be cool. Mm-hmm. I don't think we need 1,000 of them like we are, like we're having now. I just don't think that virtual environments lend itself well, especially like.
I don't know. It's hard to say because we absolutely saved a ton of money. Like,
that's true.
I'd rather.
I don't want to save my money. I want to buy a bunch of stuff.
I'm talking about the hotel.
Yeah.
It's that mostly part, the hotel that costs.
Right.
And food.
But I want to walk by. I miss to be able to walk by a booth and like, oh, you got some clearance?
Yes.
Let's check it out. Because these web stores don't have any of that crap.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just all the stuff they have in stock that's new or whatever.
Right. Or
because it's too much money to like keep your web store with all like, you have 10 of this item left.
Or you swing by the booth on Sunday right before they close.
Yeah. You have any deals?
Do you really want to ship this all the way back to where are you from again? Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. So I don't know. Maybe there was some of that going on. Some people got some luck in and talked to the right people. It'd be cool to see what happens. So I don't know. I don't know if we need a billion of these every year, but it would be cool to see one of them at least refine itself. Like a Gen Con online would be cool to see in 5 years from now what it turns into.
Right. I think what I'm most excited about right now is Essen because I've never been.
Oh, actually, yeah. That would be interesting.
That is a good point.
This is a chance for me to actually participate.
I would actually put more effort into doing a Essen online than Gen Con online because I've experienced Gen Con. I've been to Gen Con. Yeah. So online is not going to be enough of a replacement for me. that I was like, that was disappointing. It's not going to live up to going to GenCon for me. But I haven't been to Essen, so kind of taken Essen online and kind of experienced some of it, maybe.
Right.
That would be kind of interesting.
And if you're with a company that goes to Essen and you're having a listen right now, I would say,
here's my suggestion.
What is going to happen is there will be a flood of people like myself who have never been to Essen and have never interacted with you. So do your best to have options for those people. If they want to buy your games,
hook line,
like figure out a way that shipping can be arranged without, having it killing you. Yeah. Because so far in the past,
a
lot of Essen companies don't care about people, in America or shipping it to America, that they don't distribute it here. It's not their thing. But now you're going to have a lot of people interested that want your games that are going to be from far away, and figure out a way to do the shipping is all I would say.
Put everybody's purchase in like one big container crate.
Right.
Ship it to America.
Yeah.
And then have Amazon fulfillment or something to.
There has to be a way to do this.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Essen online. That'll be fun.
I'm not even
or it won't be fun. One of the two.
I'm not even sure if they're doing one. Are they doing one?
I don't know.
Sure.
I'm assuming.
I think
I'm just
so.
hoping. I mean, would they cancel the whole thing? I don't know. Why not do it online?
I mean,
it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, Origins.
Okay,
there was
good
no
point.
Origins online, although Origins was going to have it online, I guess. So.
Well, anyway, anything else? We're going to move on to the last topic so we can keep this podcast shorter than or not.
Shorter than 4 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
Shorter than 4 hours, yeah.
Sorry.
So we're going to move on to our final topic. And that final topic is our top 5 favorite abstract games. Asterisk.
Thank you.
Yeah. It definitely is kind of an asterisk.
Game.
Yeah, no. Our lists are so... This is going to be interesting because what do you define an abstract as? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's abstract, which are just wooden components. There's abstracted games, which has artwork and stuff. So it gets kind of interesting. Do you count dexterity abstracts as abstracts?
I mean...
Did you skip those?
I call them dexterity.
Yeah, I would put it more in dexterity.
When I made my list, if something could fit into a couple of categories, I would try to disregard it and stick to something that I felt was more abstract than other thing.
More of a pure abstract.
Yeah. And I also made 2 lists. One was a list of games that are actually my top 5, my personal top 5, but they're also games that a lot of people know. And because they're great abstracts, I figure they're going to come up on Tim and Eric's list possibly. And I wanted to find games that people may not have heard of that I can turn them on to. So I went with the second list that are all great games. In my opinion, I love them, but they're not going to be the ones that are, maybe as out there. So.
Well, we'll see. This is going to be interesting. So, Eric, let's start with you.
All right, number 5. Number 5 for me is Quarto. So it's a abstract game.
Is it spelled with a Q or a C?
It's a Q.
Okay.
Yeah. Quarto.
Real quick for time's sake, let's just 2 or 3 sentences on the game description and then what you feel about it.
Yeah, so basically this is a 4x4 grid, and the big the big thing about this game, the cool part about this game is you are giving your opponent the piece to play on the board, and it is a Connect 4 type of game where you are trying to get 4 pieces diagonally or in a row that all have one thing in common. So they're short pieces, there's long pieces, there's dark pieces and light pieces, there's flat tops, and there's incave tops. There's one more, I think. Some are square and some are round. So what you're trying to do is get into a position where you're the person that's going to put that something that is all the same in a row or a diagonal. So awesome game. There's no game quite like it, and I've heard that if you have 2 master players, you could kind of get into a more stalemate situations, but we've never got to that point. So
we played it a handful of times, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah, quite good game. I like it a lot.
I do too.
Yeah, I like that one quite a bit, to the point where I have 2 copies. But that's just because I found a second one at Google. My number 5 is a recent game that we played, and that's Nova Luna. And it's Uwe Rosenberg, right?
I believe so.
And Corne van Moorsel.
Yeah. Although it does have numbers and artwork and things like that, it's so abstract that the art is just there. It really doesn't matter. You're basically selecting one of these tiles. There's, like a circle of tiles, and there's a piece that moves around. You can select a tile that's out from that piece, I think up to 3 spaces, and you put it in front of you, and it has different numbers on it. Not numbers, but it has different pips of different colors. And so you're trying to have like certain colors touching each other so that you can cover up with your little tile or tokens. And it's the first one to get rid of all their tokens, basically. But you have the synergies of placing the different tiles that you collect in like patterns and stuff so that they all touch and go back to a tile that will, get its requirements filled. I'm trying to keep it really short without
this is the longest 2 sentences.
But I really like it. It's super. It's abstract. It probably is the most non-abstract on this top 5, but I really like it, and it's a game that I have yet to pick up, but I will.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one quite a lot. My number 5 is Die Dolmengatter, or Dolmen, and this is a game. It is by, I'm going to get this name wrong probably. Anyway.
George's gonna be like, this game's crap, but no one talks about it. So
No. It's by Thomas Odenhoven. And
Oldenhoven.
Yeah, he's the designer of Portobello Market as well. And this is an abstract where you have your pieces on a map that there are lots of spaces on the map, all that make circles. And if you can get your pieces to surround a circle, or not all, but majority, because you have to have 2 players at least in that, comprising that circle before it will score. And if you can do that, then you get to put a scoring piece down in the center of it. And the scoring piece has a different number on it. It has, you get 4 1 pieces, 3 2 pieces, 2 3s, and 1 4 piece. And then it's going to be a multiplier by the number that's actually in the space that you put it as well. And then if someone else comes along and replaces you, as the majority, or at least ties you, then they put their piece underneath the piece that you put down. And like the third person who comes along puts it on top. Like it's this whole thing. But in the end, the top 2 are going to score. So it's this, and when you play the game on your turn, you either place a piece out, or move a piece on the board, or take a piece back. And
like Tolkien.
When you move a piece, that's when you leave. that's when you when you move a piece, that's when you leave a piece of your color behind it in order to mark your path and make these trails on the board to claim the area of control. So interesting area control with a lot of strategy to it. It's a more complicated abstract, but it's really nice. And it was redone in 2015 called Dolmen, if you can find that one.
I wonder if it's on tabletop, because this would be kind of interesting.
Yeah, we should play it.
All right, Eric, what's your number?
Number 4 is Ricochet Robots. So in this game, you have a board, which is kind of like a loose maze in a way. Not really a maze, but imagine a very loose maze. There's some walls and whatnot. You have these different colored robots out, and randomly placed or specifically placed on the board are these different tiles. And a random tile will come out saying that you need to get a certain color robot to that tile. And everybody's going to look at this board, and in their head, they're going to figure out how to move these robots in a way that gets to that final destination. And you want to do it in the least amount of moves as possible. Once you've figured out how to do it, you call out that number. The first person that calls out that number, everybody else has, I believe, like 30 seconds in order to maybe come up with a way to do it in a shorter amount of moves. And if you do that, you gain that tile. And so this is a game. It's more of a puzzly type of game, and you know, trying to figure out how to do it in the shortest amount of moves. And yeah, actually, George showed me this game, and I quite liked it. There's another game that's very similar, and it's called Meeple. Meeple something by
Mutant
Meeples by Bezier Games.
Yeah, that's the one I actually prefer.
Yeah, I like that one as well.
I need to try this out.
That was good.
I love this one. Yeah.
My number 4 is more obscure and more complicated than George's, and that's Can't Stop.
No.
Whatever. I don't care. It's abstract. Whatever.
I don't know if does that count as an abstract game?
We're not getting into this.
It doesn't.
It's okay. Let him have.
I don't know that abstract games has dice in it.
I know, right? He's wrong.
You don't think so?
No.
Well, the other game I was going to say is Noctiluca. Can I replace it with that? It has dice.
Yeah, Noctiluca is...
I'm not going to say for sure an abstract game can't have dice.
I don't think so, because look at Backgammon.
Right?
Backgammon? Is Backgammon
has dice.
I haven't played Backgammon. I have no idea what you do in Backgammon. So, never mind.
You have like 2 dice. So... I mean, look at Yahtzee.
All right, if you consider
that's only dice, though. I'm not going to say only dice is an abstract. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
That's true. All right, Can't Stop is kind of pushing it.
Yeah, quite a bit.
I did that on purpose.
I mean, to me...
Well, anyway, I'm going to go with
like,
it.
Ricochet Robots is pushing it, too, because that's more like a puzzle game.
Yeah, very abstract puzzle game.
You know, yeah, at first when we talked about abstract,
we thought
list,
it was gonna be like
it
easy.
sounded much easier.
Yeah, like
but abstract does it does like seep into everything, because George made it right or said it right when he was like, "Well, Clans of Caledonia is very abstracted." I mean, it makes sense, but yeah, I try to pick things that
Everything
don't
is
have words.
abstracted.
I think if you had text,
Stop.
You're not actually raising sheep or making cheese. Yeah, so it's all.
Well, my point is, like, I think that abstracts with a ton of text are no longer abstracted.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, you can still have artwork and stuff, but it needs to just be, you know, almost like language independent to be abstract to me, as far as what we're.
Or you can replace those words with icons.
Let's just.
Well, anyway, Can't Stop is a Sid Saxon game where you're rolling dice, pressing your luck, and trying to move up on this stop sign shaped track that has all these different score tracks. Obviously, it has all the combinations of the dice, so 2 to 12. You roll 4 dice. You have to pair those up together. So, and 2 of them will move you up on one track, 2 of them move you up on another track, and you can only ever be moving up on 3 tracks on your turn. If you can't do that, or you can't make it, or at least move up on one of the tracks, you bust and you're out for that. You know, you lose progression for that round. Otherwise, you can save your progression by stopping.
But you can't stop.
You know, most people
If you look at my game that we're playing right now, I can't stop. I just recently got any kind of things on the board.
We're talking about Board Game Arena. If you never played it, it's a good place to go and try it out on. Yeah, it's good. I like it.
Good game.
Is it
abstract?
Perfect for this list?
Nah.
I don't know. But it's a great game, so it's on there.
And was it my next one?
Okay. Yeah.
So my number 4 is a game called Tortuga, and this is a game that each player has a herd of turtles, and
it looks so cute.
You have to go from one end of the map to the other side. Meanwhile, the other turtles are coming your way, right? So you want to beat them to the other side. And if you jump over a turtle, checker style, then you're going to flip it onto its back. So on your turn, you can move a turtle like forward 1 step, But if there's a turtle in front of you and a blank space behind him, you can jump him like checkers, and the turtle that gets jumped gets flipped over. But here's the thing. Anyone who jumps that turtle again later in the game flips it back right side up. Whether it's you or the other guy. And on the bottom of the turtles, there's 4 colors, like a dot. And so they will do a certain thing. When they get flipped over, they can have like a power go off. And it might be introduce another turtle to the board, or take a turtle off the board that is next to them because they were contaminated. You know, like there's just...
Does this have a memory element to it?
No, you
then?
plan where you're putting your colored turtles, but you don't know where the other guys' are.
Oh, but you can look at yours
Yes.
at any time
Yes.
to know which one it is?
Yeah.
Well, if you could look at yours anytime, and they're randomly... can you
They're
tell
not
from
random.
the top?
You set them where you want.
Oh, yeah. I mean, from the top of the turtle, can you...
No.
You know which one's yours?
No. I mean,
So
you know which
there's
one's
kind of
yours.
memory.
Wait.
Oh,
You know
okay.
which turtle is yours because it's going that direction.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, so...
So, yeah. So you're just trying to, you know, a little bit of bluffing, like, is this turtle, should you jump it, or is it going to, you know, wipe you out
Mhm.
because it's contaminated? Or, yeah, it's that kind of thing, but it's just really lovely, very, very easy to teach, just like checkers. Fantastic.
That's cool.
Tortuga, 2007.
All right.
Victor
So...
Earhart, I think.
Next game for me is number 3, Santorini. Santorini is a game where it's you have 2 builders and you're on this colorful little cloud, I believe. And the goal of the game is that every time you're moving one of your 2 builders, you are then going to place a section of building, whether it be the first, second, or third, around the builder that you moved. And what you're trying to do is be the first one at the top of a 3-story building. So when you move, you can only hop up one level of a building. You can hop down as many as you want. But at the beginning of the game, you both get these god powers that kind of change the gameplay, and that's kind of what I like the best about the game, because it gives you a ton of replayability where every time you're kind of pitted, you know, this is my power and this is your power. So no one game is going to be the same. You're always going to have to kind of contend with their power and try to utilize your benefit of your power. So, and it looks awesome on the table.
Oh, it's a lovely production. Yeah.
Yeah. Board Game Arena has a very good version of it as well.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've played 2 games of it now.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good. My number 3 is Hive. This is a game where you get big chunky tiles that have a different insect on it. And on your turn, you can either put a new tile into play, touching one of your pieces, or you can move one of your pieces, much like chess, where each of the different bugs can move differently. The game requires no board. You can actually play it on sand or like grass or anything, because the tiles are only just need to touch each other. You know what I'm saying? And what's cool is you're trying to surround your opponent's B. Once you do that, you win. And so it's a lot of like, you really have to think 3 or 4 turns ahead. But then obviously if they do something much like in chess, it might change your 3rd and 4th movement and, you know, how you're doing stuff. So, it's so
it
good.
is.
So good.
I've never played it.
I
I've
really
never
like
played it
this
on
game.
grass, I have to say.
I've played it on sand. I've played it on the
Okay,
beach.
I don't know if you can play it on
I
grass.
like this one quite a bit.
I'm not sure
Do
you
what,
can play it on
George?
grass, but sand, yes.
Yeah, sand's not too bad because you can just kind of smooth it out.
Grass, as long as it's not too long.
Yeah.
Well, this one would have made the top of my original list. This is my favorite actual abstract. Yeah, absolutely agree with you.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Super good.
Okay, my next one is Camisado, and this is a 2008 game, and it's on a chessboard, and you have rows of pieces that start out opposed to each other, and every piece of the chessboard has a different color. They sort of go in diagonal stripes on the board. Well, no, they're more mixed up than that. The colors are all mixed up on the board, but your pieces can move as in chess, straight across like a rook, or they can go diagonal. Well, let's just say they move like a queen, right? They can do any movement, diagonal or orthogonal, any distance that you want. But you're not trying to take the other team's pieces. That would be way too easy. What you're trying to do is get your pieces to the opposite side of the board. The trick to the game is when you move a piece, whatever color you stop on, that is the color on which the opponent's piece starts for their next move. So you're dictating to the opponent what piece they're able to move.
Oh, this is kind of like a Quarto
it's
chess.
So clever. It's so good. It gets very deep as well, because just that part by itself, to where you play that way and the first person to get across the board, bam, they win. That is a very satisfying game. But then you can play it to where when you do make it across the board, it's almost like in checkers where you get to be kinged. You get a sumo ring put on yourself. And if you have one sumo ring, then that piece can move a distance of 5 squares only now. But when they do, they can push one piece out of the way. And if you make it, back across again, your next piece gets 2 sumo pieces. That one can only move 3 steps, but it can push 2 pieces out of the way. And then the third one can only move 1 and push 1 piece out of the way. But so you can make the game go on, and it gets a lot deeper. But I usually just play the very basic, whoever gets the piece across first, because it's a quick, really thinky, satisfying game. Like it.
How many pieces does each
8.
player have?
You're right across the bottom row of the chessboard. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
1 on each color.
That's interesting.
I'll play this one.
It's by Peter Burley. It's really, really nice. He also did Take It Easy.
Cool.
All right. Number 2 for me. Number 2 is Azul. So in this game, it's another pretty abstract, where you use circular tiles around the board, where it kind of consists of the board. They have different tiles that get placed on this board, on these circles. And you're basically drafting these tiles in order to play it on your player board. And on your player board, each segment of this basically wall that you're kind of making, you might have, you can only put in 1 tile, 2 tile, 3 tile, 4 tile, and so forth. So what you're trying to do is every time you take one from one of these tiles, everything kind of shifts off to the middle, and you can choose to do that or take off one color from the central area as well. So I always like this one. I think it looks really nice. I think it is an abstract game where it gives you abilities to play off what your opponent needs, or really what they don't need as well. So you're trying to kind of get them stuck with a lot of tiles that take away points from them as well. And it's up there as my number 2.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Cool.
Beautiful game.
My number 2, and you can fight me if you don't like it. No, I was kidding. Is Glux. It's a Queen's game.
I like Glux.
And yeah, basically you have a bag of tokens. Each one has 2 sides, obviously, and it represents the dice, the values on a die, on a 6-sided dice. So you have a 6 and a 1, 2 and a 5, and a 3 and a 4, and you have multiple copies of all these. You have a giant board, and the board's kind of got like light areas. It's all these squares or whatever. You have these light areas, and you have these dark areas, which are nothing. It's an area control game, so you're trying to get pieces into the spots that are lightly colored. And at the end of the game, they're scoring or whatnot. But the clever part about the game is you draw a tile, or they're circles, but you draw a chip from your bag, and you put it somewhere. And that kind of is like how far away from another piece it can be, so like there's this strategy of, you draw a tile and now you can be, the distance of where you're placing it matters. And there's like blocking because you can put pieces in front of opponent's pieces, and now they can't go that way from that piece, and they have to kind of place another piece to be able to move. Because you don't actually move any tiles, you kind of expand out, and the values on these tiles dictate how far you can expand out. So super good game.
Yeah.
I really
like it a lot. area majority type of deal as well, where
Yes.
you're trying to take over different sections of the board.
Yep. And I think I actually like it equally well at 2, 3, and 4 players. I do like all the player counts for this one.
Yeah. Great.
Probably more strategic at 2. But,
it is a great game. Really like it. It's definitely a dice game. No, I'm just kidding.
I would say the same thing
It
for
still
Aswell
counts.
too.
That's
Up to you.
It's abstract. It's fine. Okay. My number
What's your number
2,
2, George?
maybe this is the most questionable as far as whether it's abstract for my list. And it's called Mutton.
Mutton.
This is a game by Cameron Brown and Stephen Taverner. And it's kind of a word game, but it's also an abstract because you have a hex of hexes. So there are 4 on a side field of hexes, and you take sheep that each have a letter of the alphabet on them. So A through Z go on to this into this space. And one player is a farmer and one player is the wolf. And the wolf is going to have a word that is 4 letters long that they come up with at the start of the game. And any 4-letter word, like the 4-letter word could be easy. That's fine. And I mean the actual word easy. And so so then they look at the groupings of sheep on the board, and they're going to select one of the letters out of the word easy, and that's going to be one of the wolves that activates. When that wolf activates, a sheep that is next to that letter gets flipped over dead. And then all the other sheep that are still next to that particular sheep that's the letter of the wolf all have to move somewhere else. And so they move away from that spot to a blank space in the area, including the wolf. The wolf also moves. So
he chases somebody.
So the farmer sees a sheep die and a whole bunch of sheep scatter. And then he knows one of those sheep that just moved is a wolf. He doesn't know which one. So on the farmer's turn, he has to take a shot. So he picks one of those sheep to shoot because, it's a sheep in wolf's clothing or wolf in sheep's clothing is what, he can't tell the difference. So yeah, so he's just got to shoot one. So he does. Yeah. And if it's the wolf, then the wolf player lets him know by howling. And
is this a 2-player game, you said?
Yeah. And if it's a sheep, then the wolf player lets him know by letting out this pathetic dying sheep noise. And either way, that sheep gets flipped over. It's gone. So, for every, I can't remember how the scoring goes now, but it's not that important. Like you get a point for the wolf gets a point for every sheep that dies or something like that. I don't know. Something like that. But anyway, it doesn't matter. The game is brilliant because you have to get all 4 of these wolves. They're moving around. You're shooting your own sheep. You're trying to figure it out, and you can sort of help yourself out by trying to figure out what letters you've already taken out and what might the 4-letter word be. It's a fantastic game. It doesn't exist anymore as far as like picking up a copy, but it is on the Android and it's probably on the Apple. You can get it and play it on your phone, and it's absolutely brilliant. Mutton.
Cool.
And you can just make it yourself, Oh
yeah.
Make this. It's so good.
All right, Eric, what's your honorable mention?
Well, I got kind of 2 real quick. One is Tim said it wasn't abstract enough for this list. So it's Tashkalar, where it is an abstract game where you are trying to put out basically these like level 1 warriors throughout this board, but you're doing it in a way to hopefully get points. To get points, there's these scoring cards off the board that says, you need to do X in order to get 2 points or 1 point or 3 point, and you're trying to get up to I think it's like 9 points. Is that right? I forgot right now.
Yeah, I think it's 9.
And then this first X amount of points wins the game. So besides that, you have these cards in your hand that lets you get different pieces or better pieces out on the board, and might allow you to do some special abilities. So you want to get them in a certain position in order to summon this being out to the board. And then once you do that, like I said, you might be able to do a special ability with that tile or another tile. But your real end goal is obviously to get victory points. So I've liked it quite a bit. We've been playing it more on Board Game Arena now, and always have a good time with that one. And another one that I kind of just added to the list here is...
Wait, real quick, I want to agree with you. Tashkalara is one of my favorites. Fantastic game.
Oh, yeah.
Great game. Too much text for me to be an abstract.
I disqualified this one as well.
For this list.
But just barely.
They could have... Yeah, a lot of those texts can be replaced with icons. but sure. Another abstract game that I liked quite a bit is, it used to be called OK Play. And I was first introduced to this game, I don't think it was last GenCon, maybe the GenCon prior.
It might have been 3 ago.
Maybe even 3 ago. So it's made by Big Potato Games, I believe. And they had a coupon in the book where you can go and play this game at their booth. And if you won the game against the booth person, you got to
2016.
You got to keep the game. So I thought that was quite a good coupon and a good time playing it. Right now, they have re-released the game. Now it's called Cinco Linko. You can find it at Walmart. Right now, they're actually on sale as well, if you want to pick it up. But it is actually even designed to take anywhere type of game. It plays up to 4 players, and basically it's the first person to get your pieces in a line of 5. In order to do that on your turn, it's pretty simple. You're going to place a piece adjoining any piece on the board. It just has to touch a side. You're going to continue doing this until obviously one person has put a line of 5 out. But once everybody has put all their pieces out on the board, on subsequent turns, you're going to remove one of your pieces and then move it to another place on the board. So for a pretty small game, you can play anywhere, take it anywhere. I thought it was kind of enjoyable, so look out for it.
I have 2 as well. They're very quick. These are 2 that I really wanted to put on this list, but I felt like they were too much of a different type of game. Like for the first one, it's tumbling dice.
Yeah.
It's more of a dexterity game, but it is abstract. And also, I've talked about it 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Super good game. But yeah, I think that it was very... Is it abstract? Yes. Is it more of a dexterity game? Yes.
Yes.
And the same goes true for the next game, it's Pitch Card. So, hey, look, I could have put it in my top 5, but I just honorably mentioned them.
Okay.
Top 5, whatever. They're good. Pitch Car is super abstract, though. It just has a dexterity element.
Like cars. You're right.
All right.
Whatever.
All right.
Oh, that's funny. All right. So my honorable mention is, in a sense, it's checkers, but not exactly, because it's actually a game called Lines of Action, and it's what I will always play if I have a checker set and a checkerboard, because I'm not that crazy about checkers. Even though I like the game Tortuga, which was, similar to checkers, I would rather play that than checkers. And this one, if you have the pieces and you have the board, Lines of Action is one where you set up the 2 lines of light pieces on 2 sides of the board, and then 2 lines of dark pieces on the other 2 sides of the board, with the corner pieces empty. So you have that setup, and then you can move a piece only as far as the line of action that you move it. So if you want to move it in a diagonal plane, you look all the way along that diagonal, and however many pieces are there of your color or the opponent, doesn't matter, you count them up. That's how many movement that one gets to do. And if you land on an opponent, you take them out. But you're not trying to take out the opponent necessarily. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get all of your pieces clumped together in one clump by orthogonal or diagonal connections. And if you do that, you win. It's a brilliant.
Nice.
Just, I love this game as far as, it's so easy to find. Everyone has checkers, but it's a better game. So, you can probably find this one, anywhere you find checkers. And if you, can't do that, it's also on your phone. So check it out.
All right, Eric, let's do our number ones.
Number one for me is Yinch. So it is a game in where it's kind of like Go in a way, where you have these markers that have one side's black and one side's white. You're obviously going to be one of those colors. You are trying to, maybe I just like Connect 5 type of games.
Apparently.
I just realized that. This game, you have these.
I actually have Slide 5. You should try that out.
Oh, I do like Slide 5 too.
That's a good game. It's like a 70s game.
So in this game, you have these 5 circular rings on the board. And what you're trying to do is you're moving one of these rings, and wherever you leave, you're going to leave behind a marker of your color. And you can move as much as you want, and then you can jump over a clump of markers, if you have space on the other side. So all these markers that you move over, they flip to the opposite side. And also, you can never jump over or move across another player's marker or another marker. A ring. You can't jump over another ring, whether it's yours or your opponent. So they're also, you kind of use them as blockers as well. So excellent game. It has like a little catch-up mechanic in it too, where once you score a line of 5, you'll remove those markers off the board, and you have to choose one of your markers to kind of sacrifice, because the goal of the game is to get 3 of these markers off the board. But the more of your markers, I keep on saying markers, but one of your rings off the board. But the more rings that you take off the board, the more rings that your opponent has over you, giving them kind of a little bit of an advantage to hopefully catch up as well and keep the game kind of tight. So, excellent game. If you haven't tried it out, highly recommended.
Yep.
Cool. My number one is Shobu.
It was on my short list, and I knew you would probably have it on there. So,
yeah, I like this one quite a bit. This is probably my favorite traditional abstract game, if you will. Like when you think chess and checkers and Go and all that stuff. This is one that's very new within the last year, and it feels like it's ancient.
It came out last GenCon.
It came out last GenCon, yeah. And basically this game works where you have 4 boards that are 4x4 spaces. There are 2 light colored ones and 2 dark colored ones. One of each is going to be in front of you. One of each is going to be in front of the opponents. You get a cool little rope that goes between them. And on each board, you're going to have like 4 of your pieces on your side and 4 of their pieces on the opposite side. And you're trying to push their pieces off the sides of the board to where you are the only player with pieces on that board.
I had to laugh, though, because the rope serves no purpose whatsoever.
Well, it does in some way. It reminds you of
a roll.
The actions you have to do.
Okay.
Yes. Because what it says is you have to take an action on one board on your side and one board on their side, basically. That's really all it's there for.
It could be anything.
It's unnecessary, but it looks neat. It actually cool. Has like a appeal to it. And it was probably super cheap to do.
Yeah.
I don't know that for sure, but at least the rope part's probably super cheap. Anyway, when you move a piece, basically say you move a piece, you have to move. Your first piece has to be moved on one of the 2 boards in front of you. Your next piece has to be on one of the 2 boards in front of your opponent, but it has to be opposite of whatever board you just moved from. So if I moved on the light colored wood board on my side, I have to move on the dark colored wood board on my opponent's side. And you have to do mirrored actions, but it's not exact mirrored, So if I move a piece diagonal twice, then I have to move the other piece diagonal twice. But there's also a thing where your first action can't be aggressive, but the second action can be. So there's a couple little rules that kind of hinders what you're doing, but man, it piles on this strategy of what you're trying to do. And it's a lot of doing things and allowing pieces to be sacrificed to put yourself in a better position on another board.
Mm-hmm. The game is brilliant.
Phenomenal.
Brilliant game.
So good.
Yeah.
So
I like
good.
it quite a bit.
Yeah, I like both of your number ones quite a bit. Yinch, brilliant game as well. So, Shobu.
Yes.
I love it. My number one is a game called Barca. It's not about dogs. It is actually about lions, and elephants and mice. And it's played on a 10 by 10 chessboard. And
you like chessboards.
I do.
Just
and I really like this game. This game, you have 6 animals, so you have 2 of each. And there are 4 spaces on the chessboard that are watering holes. And all the animals are fighting over the watering holes. So the mouse can only move orthogonally like a rook. And the mouse is scared of a lion. Makes sense. Which means that you can't end your turn on any space next to a lion, orthogonal or diagonal. Okay. So the lion can only move diagonal. And so they're color locked. You have 1 on each color. And they are scared of the elephant, because the elephants are able to smash them. And the elephant can move like a queen any way he wants, but elephants are scared of mice. So you can't end your turn next to one of those animals. And if you happen to be next to one of those animals through something else happening, right, then through that animal moving next to you, in other words, then you have to move the next opportunity. That's the animal you have to move, the scared animal. And if you can end up on 3 of those 4 watering holes at the end of your turn, then you're the winner of the game. It's really clever. Love it. Barca.
That's interesting.
And you can make this game yourself.
That's very true. You could make every one of my choices other than the first one, probably yourself. That's the thing about abstract games,
Right.
That's true, yeah, because it's just using kind of bare components and stuff.
But it's interesting. I made the other list as well to sort of predict what you guys would say. And you guys said every one of the ones that I thought you were going to say, except for one that wasn't on your list. And I'm a little surprised, unless I missed it completely. It was Onitama.
Oh, yeah. I like Onitama.
Yeah.
It didn't make my list, but I did like it.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you consider it?
It was in consideration. It would make my top 10. I don't think it would break my top 5.
No, yeah. Well, obviously
top
not.
10.
Yeah.
Oh, obviously, yeah. Obviously not.
My short list was Noctiluna, Reef, Drop It, and Dimension.
Drop It.
Do you know what abstract games are?
Okay.
Dude, so it's good. Look, I'm not a big abstract gamer. Actually, sorry, I did have Quarto on there as well. I erased it on accident.
Okay. Earlier. And earlier I had to ask if it was spelled with a Q or a C because there's Quarto with a C.
Yeah, Q.
Okay.
Q.
QU. Yeah.
All right. Anything else quickly before we wrap this up? Or?
I was going to have on my other list, I was also going to have one honorable mention, and that was For the Crown, because it's a mix of chess with deck building. So I counted it as deck building. But it's also a brilliant abstract game.
All right, well, we're going to wrap this episode up. We want to thank you again for tuning in to episode 101 of the MeepleCore podcast. This episode was recorded on August 9th, 2020. Please send us questions and comments to meeplecore@gmail.com. Follow MeepleCore on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Check out video versions of the show on youtube.com/MeepleCore, or at least, at some point there's videos up there, but new episodes are COVID delayed. Until next time, this is Tim Jennette, the Metal Meeple.
Eric Ledford.
George Breden.
Keep on rocking and rolling dice.